Drum for the Song podcast.
So hello, this is Drum for the Song. I'm here with Bob Richards today. How's it going, Bob?
All right, Dane. Thanks for asking me on this. I'm very humbled, to be honest with you.
Oh, no problem at all. Appreciate you agreeing to do it. I think a lot of people will be really interested in what you've got to say and what to tell us about your career. So for anyone who doesn't know Bob Richards, he's fairly local to me in Wales. That's how I know him. He's had quite a long career. He's played in a multitude of bands with, very, very big stars we'll talk about in a minute. He's played with Graham Bonnet, Adrian Smith, Dave Edmunds. He was in Man. He's now playing in Son of Man and Buck and Evans. And he was also in an ACDC music video for the song Rock or Bust, which is an incredible story, which we'll talk about in a little while. So, so
I got my notes here, Dane, because my memory is like a sieve, man.
That's completely cool.
When you're 115, like I am, you can't remember.
That's all good, yeah. So I make notes as well, so it's all cool, man. So don't.
I got to ask my wife what I'm doing tomorrow.
Any plans for tomorrow? No, you don't know. Got to ask her.
I don't know yet.
That's cool. Yeah. So we'll start at the beginning then, if you don't mind. When did you start playing the drums? Like, how old were you, and how did that happen?
Right. My grandfather was in the Air Force. He was a Spitfire mechanic in the Air Force, right, which is really cool. And he was in the Air Force big band as a drummer, and obviously been playing, all of his life. And I remember when I was like, I think 3.5 years old, he bought me a toy kit. The ones you get in the catalogues, with like the cardboard heads and the plastic shells and stuff like that. And I remember destroying it. I remember I put the beater through the skin and stuff like that. And then when I was 4.5, he gave me his drum kit when he bought a brand new one. He went to Leicester to the Premier factory or something. He went up north somewhere to buy a brand new Premier kit, which was a B303 in grey shimmer, which I've still got, all with the original heads, with the original cases and stands and cymbals and everything.
Wow. And
I've still got, and when he bought that, he gave me his kit, which was a kind of an amalgamation of Premier and Ajax. Now the kit, the white one, was, I think it was late 50s. It was quite old. I've still got it, and I've just had it refurbished.
Oh, wow.
And recovered by a good friend of mine, Dave Pauly, who does, most of my kind of, refurbishment work on my kits now, because I haven't got the time half the time, and I haven't got the room anymore because I got so much in the garage. It's like, So he gave me this drum kit, and I remember him showing me single strokes and double strokes over my shoulder. This is a Mama Dada, and this is single strokes. Right, get on with it. I need one drop, and I just like be thumping away. And I remember then playing in a school I Stedford in 72, taking the drums to school and playing in front of people for the first time. And I was just so nervous, can't tell you. And, it was horrendous, really. But then I was playing, practicing in my bedroom, just listening to records. The song that comes to mind is Hellraiser by The Sweet. I used to play that a lot.
Oh, cool.
And my Granch played in clubs, and he said to me one night, he said, come down the club and have a listen, sit over there, have a watch, have a listen, and then you can have a little go. What? Of course, his great shimmer Premier kit was there, and he'd say, right, I'm going to have a pint with your Nan, because Nan was working behind the bar, so he'd have a pint, and I'd get up, and I'd be like tiny behind this little drum kit, and playing foxtrots, quick steps, waltzes and stuff like that, rumbas, tangos, and that's how I learned, basically.
Wow. Yeah.
So, learned from playing in the house, listening to records, then to play these songs. And I didn't really have a clue about the business, drumming and, whatnot then. I was just watching my Granch playing and thinking, well, that's what I got to do then. That's how to do it, and subsequently, I was there for, I think, 4.5 years. Then I ended up playing full nights on my own. Then I went to another club 3 nights a week at 12, playing. So then we had artists coming in, singers, guitarists coming in, so I had to learn how to back them. So that's where my instincts was trained, basically. So I'd be watching the singers or the guitar players and watching every move and just kind of firing off things like that, So listening skills, and that goes back to then, teaching and stuff, learning how to listen and apply, stuff. So I did that for donkey's years, and then I got into metal and rock and, Rainbow. Yeah. And stuff like that. And I went to see Rainbow as a school trip to, I wouldn't necessarily a school trip, it was a gang of mates from school went to Sophia Gardens and watched Rainbow. And it was March the 5th, 1980, I remember it well. And, there he was, Cozy Powell with this gigantic chrome Yamaha kit, Graham, Donny Glover, Roger Glover, Richie Blackmore. I was like, wow, it just blew me away. And then we were lucky enough to go to Donington in 1980.
Oh wow!
To do the first Monsters of Rock.
That was the first one.
Yeah, and it absolutely just blew me away and kind of forged my musical path. For want of a better word. Again, Cozy was up there with that kit, playing those songs from the Down to Earth album. That just like it's still one of my favorite albums today. Eyes of the World, Since You've Been Gone, all right along, all those things. And who'd have thought years later I ended up playing those songs with Graham on Cozy's kit on a tour.
That's insane, yeah. Because that's the kit you own, right?
Well, yeah, but I've got one. Cozy had loads of kits, obviously, and I've got the chrome Yamaha from Whitesnake.
Right.
The chrome one that he picked up in about 78, 79.
Can you just repeat that just because it it went funny? Yeah, sorry.
I think Cozy picked up his first Yamaha in about 78.
Right.
Japan, when Ronnie was still in the band, and then he had that up until 83 in Whitesnake, and then he had a new one, which is what I've got. No, he's 20, 30 feet away from me now in the garage in case it's all coached up. And that's what he used on the slided in stuff, a world tour. But I know we slightly digressed there. But that's basically my background in terms of, when I was young and learning. I couldn't read a note of music. I didn't even know there was drum music back then, not a clue. Right. So that's why I relied on these.
Yeah.
And these.
Yeah.
And this.
Yeah. No, totally.
But I also had a guitar when I was 8. And I loved playing my guitar. And then I had an electric guitar when I was like 11 or 12 and learning Smoke on the Water and learning riffs like that, and playing learning the Rainbow and Purple stuff. So I was a big Blackmore fan, obviously. Yeah. And there was a time where I was thinking, do I want to play guitar or drums? Do I want to play drums or guitar? And I was like, I thought, nah, I'm not getting any better on the guitar, but I was just getting better on the drums. So obviously, drums was number one for me,
Yeah, that was. You could obviously see a natural progression on that instrument. I think I had the similar thing when I was young, because I always dabbled in guitar in my family. And I remember, I was playing guitar and playing drums, but I think I naturally found myself attached to the drums more, and I just felt like I was improving more quickly. So it's probably a similar story to me. And
but I tell you what the playing in the clubs did for me. It just gave me chance sometimes, and maybe right or wrong, but it gave me a chance to play. I'll say quiet and subtle, but people think he's a noisy git. But using double strokes and playing around the kit, and it gave me a chance to learn all these little double stroke things with the fingers and the wrists and using the bounce, as opposed to not having that opportunity and not knowing the double strokes and the bounces and stuff like that, and the fingered control, to get the speed and stuff. So I'm really grateful for all that, because it was a great lesson.
Definitely. Yeah. I think I didn't even know what a double stroke was till I was like my mid-20s. I know that sounds stupid. I've been playing in bands.
But if nobody told you.
Yeah, no one told me what it was.
If you saw someone do it and actually did it yourself.
Yeah. I think I may have like developed my own little style of maybe doing it, but not knowing what it was. But when it actually came around to like looking into rudiments and things, because no one taught me those either. It's and now I would like to kind of go back and study everything properly, which I've always said I will do and I haven't done.
Well, I got my TD30 in the conservatory. If you want to come over,
nice. No,
I don't know all the rudiments at all, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking again, right or wrong, there may be drummers out there saying, "Oh no, he don't know what he's on about." But for me, there's only like half a dozen rudiments that you kind of use, more than anything else.
Yeah.
You've got your single strokes, double strokes, and I won't include paradiddles because that's a set pattern.
Yeah.
Singles, doubles, flams,
yeah,
rags and roughs. They're your basic ones that you use more often and are more useful.
Yes.
All the other things are there just to train your hands to do things, to do clever things. But then, are there places for clever things in rock and roll and pop music, or I don't know. Then we get into a whole new category. Then you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And it's partly where I've always played in rock bands and I guess commercial kind of music, and I feel as if I see a band or like a rock band and their drummer is maybe utilizing every bloody rudiment and playing fills left, right, and center. I think like I class that as like overplaying. I know it's a subjective term, and I'm always like, well, it's not really fitting with the music properly. But I still wish I could do it if I wanted to.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's that. I think, it would be nice, but at my age, 115, I haven't got the time or the inclination to go in there and go through every drum book I can find or that I own. Right?
Yeah.
Because I think, would it benefit me playing with Black and Evans, Son of Man at the moment? Because no, I play for the song.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but we digress slightly. But when I play for the song, I try and let it come from there.
Yeah.
And everything I do is off the top of my head. Even when I'm recording, I just say, just let it go and I'll see what happens.
Nice.
Because I can't plan things. I'm not that type of drummer. I won't think, right, I'm going to do this fill to go in there, that fill to do this, that, like a jigsaw puzzle. It's just, because it's like an emotional thing. It's how I feel, how the kit sounds, the response I get back from it. All that is mixed into it, and then it's like, oh, yeah, I'm feeling good. Because like when I've done gigs where everything was like right on it, I'd come off stage going, wow, that was wonderful. And yet I've done gigs, and you've been the same, you've done gigs where the monitors are awful, if you've got any, right?
Yep.
It doesn't feel right for some reason. The room's not very good. You can't hear anybody. And it's like, oh, I didn't play very well. Or you overplay, and then your hands are gone. You're pounding the shit out of your drums because you can't hear them.
Yeah.
But you don't even know what's coming out front.
No.
But then your hands are gone. It's like, oh, I've just blown my cookies now. I can't do any more. You know what I mean? So I do try and relax. I close my eyes and pretend there's nobody there, and I just relax, and then things will start to fall back into place again.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Sorry to be digressing all the time, but
no, this is fine. This is that's the kind of stuff I want to hear, really. So that's a really interesting way, especially I think when you said you record. So if you've recorded, see, when you recorded Buck and Evans' album, presumably you've rehearsed the songs a lot with the band.
Yes, well, we play them a lot and rehearse them a lot. But still, I have to say, none of those fills are nailed down.
Right, so you're still improvising on the recording, yeah.
That's an apt word, because I think improvising is one of my strengths.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Because playing in the clubs when I was a kid, and in maybe the last 10 or 15 years, starting to do the odd jazz gig here and there with a small drum kit, playing with a piano player or bass player and guitarist, having to play really quiet using finger technique and stuff like that. I forgot where I was going then. Hang on, I was there, now I'm here.
Improvising, yeah.
Improvising. Yeah. I played with some incredible jazz guitarists and bass players and piano players, and then we feeding off each other.
Yeah.
So the guitar player may look at me and do a pattern, and I'll replicate that pattern. Then we trade, and then there's the trade-in fours. Every 4 bars, you do solos and stuff like that. And I love that. I could do that all day. I love it because it's all coming from there, and I'm using these and those.
Yeah, and it's just an immediate reaction to what's going on.
Back to the Black Evans thing, it's like nothing's nailed on, and whatever comes out at that time, that's what it is.
Awesome.
Because Chris didn't want to use a click track.
Right.
All the albums I've done in the past, I've used clicks only because it's just the ease of use.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So we did the Black Evans stuff, and it was all live.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Dominic and Chris played them live.
Wow.
In the studio, right? Chris overdubbed his guitars later on because he wanted to just hone in on his solos and get things. Dominic was pretty much there or thereabouts. But if there was something, for instance, I wasn't happy with, we'd have to do the whole track again.
Yeah, you can't drop in.
No, we didn't.
Can't do.
I can't remember. We did. I mean, I've done drop-ins without clicks before. I just play a lot. Yeah. But we ended up doing the drums and bass in about 2 or 3 days, I think, or 3.5 days, or something like that.
Good, yeah.
Because we play each song maybe 2 or 3 times, and then we'd that was the best take then. So that's like strike that one down, and then we move on. I don't know if I'm like 100% happy with doing it that way because I like click tracks because I can go in and listen to what I've just done and go, I didn't like that fill going into that section. And you go in and I'll drop in and redo it.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I work normally. It's kind of
much easier.
Yeah. And
because when you're behind the kit and you've got those headphones on, you're not being objective. You're not in the room listening. You're actually playing it. You're not listening to it. You're playing it. And until you go in there and actually do that, you go, that bit, something's wrong there.
Yeah.
Like that.
And you just go and drop it in and just do that a little bit again. Yeah.
And then you just tidy it up. But that's what I'm more used to.
Yes.
And that reminds me of the last session album I did was about a month ago now for Carl Sentence down in Sonic One Studios in Italy.
Right.
So we could talk about that right now if you want.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, go on then.
Yeah. So I've known Carl 30 plus years now, and we've worked together in the past at the Cozy Bash and stuff like that. And he rang me up. He said I wanted to do my solo album. I said, oh, awesome. I said, well, I've got a TD30. I said, I got Logic Pro on the Mac. He said, oh, brilliant. He said, I've got Logic files. He said, I'll send you the tracks. And I then played the drum parts on the Roland and learned how to do it on Logic and then sent them back. And then we would hone in the parts to like a 95% kind of, situation. But I did say this, so look, Carl, if there's a fill I did off the top of my head there, it may not be the same in the studio. The circumstances are different, emotions are different, days, it's a different room.
Yeah. Just the fact you're playing on real drums with real cymbals is massively different. Yeah.
We nailed the grooves that way in there, based on patterns and stuff like that. And then once we got the demos done, he then emailed me back MP3 demos with the electric kit. So that I would just play it in the car now and again and whatnot and drive into the studio. And I try not to get too deep into learning them because I'd like to be kind of free-ish and kind of top of my head at that time, Yeah. But it was a great way of doing it, and we got the drum sounds up and ready at 12 o'clock or 12 on the Monday, I think. I was done by Tuesday, 5.
Wow.
the whole album.
Smash them out.
And what we did then, once we did the take, we'd email it to Carl. I'd have a cup of coffee and about 55 million bloody chocolate hobnobs. Well, Tim used to have them delivered. Well, he still does, delivered in bulk.
Really?
Hobnobs, yeah. I said, Tim, this is horrendous. You can't have these here, but go away.
They're
So
addictive.
we send it to Carl, and he'd come back. He'd say, "Yeah, that was cool." Or we'd come back and say, "That bit. Have a look at that bit. Can you maybe do this?" Yeah, all right. So I go in and redo the part, send it over. We go, "Yeah, that's it," and that's how we did it. You know?
That sounds pretty quite easy. Well, considering that was during lockdown, right? So that was
Yeah,
during.
of course.
So yeah, that sounds like a nice way of doing things.
It was great.
One thing I was going to ask: when he sent you the demos, did they have like bass guitar or anything on them?
Yes. He put a drum machine on there, bass guitar and guitars he did himself.
So you had like a bass line to follow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's interesting. Yeah.
But to be honest, I don't follow.
You don't follow.
No,
fair enough.
I'll just do what I do.
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever. Yeah, as long as it works.
Yeah, and Carl said to me, he said, "Don't worry about things like that because I'll play around." Because he had to redo all the parts anyway.
So you play around
He will then play tighter to the drum track.
Nice.
Because that's how I think Dominic did it. You know, when he went back and listened to some of the parts, he redid some of his bass. I think around some of my fills, he'd say, "Oh, well, I can play something like that fill, eh?" So he would kind of do something with it, you know.
Cool. Yeah, that's a good.
Same with the Son of Man thing. They put the bass around and what's going on, you know.
Yeah, you can stick out quite a lot if the bass is playing, you know, something that's straight, and then you do a triplet fill over it, or vice versa. And so it's good to be able to, you know, adjust, amend that then when it comes to laying down the bass, so it doesn't happen.
Having said that, mind, it's also nice if you've got some kind of steady pulse, like an eighth note or a quarter note pulse, and then you play a triplet over the top of that.
Yeah.
The fact that playing a triplet over the straight sets it out.
Yeah, well, sometimes it fits beautifully. Yeah.
If everybody follows the lines, then it's a mess. Well, I wouldn't say it's a mess. If everybody was dancing to the same tune, kind of thing, there's no. Well, I can't find the right words. There's no kind of not different. That's the wrong word.
It'd be too like rigid, wouldn't it? I think if everything was playing the same.
Yeah.
Everything was the same rhythm. I know what you mean. You want it to flow better.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, which Phil Rudd.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, bang. Awesome. And then Angus's parts are syncopated over the straight groove.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Which then gives it the power.
Yeah.
And wow. But if Phil and everybody followed everything the guitar riff was doing, and that goes for every band, it would like, hang on, everybody's doing the same thing here. You need something that's solid to build everything else on.
And something needs to stick out and stand out.
Yeah. And I mean, as I'm getting older, I'm still 115, but I'm thinking, I go in with the least busy part possible when I'm learning something or we're writing something together in a room. I just play a straight groove. See what's going on.
Yeah.
Feel what's coming next. Simple fill into the next section. Simple fill out of that section, and just feel it like that. If I think, do you know what, it doesn't need anything anymore, then that's it. But when I was younger, I was like, I want to be the fastest, cleverest. What can I fit in there? You know.
Yeah, I think a lot of younger drummers are guilty of that. But this, you know, when they're new to it, and then you mature, eventually. Well, hopefully, people mature into what you just said.
Yeah. But you can't kind of, you can advise people. You can't make them do it. You can advise them, but until they find out for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, I learned the hard way. I learned by kind of. I learned.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
I learned the hard way by kind of working with all these better musicians and you know, more well-known players, and I learned from them because they would say to me, "How about trying it like this?" I go, "Okay." Oh yeah. And I would learn like that. Play it simple, write things in the right time, and then like I said, when I was young, I just wanted to be clever and fast. And I've got a video of me when I was like 17, 18, playing in this bloody rock pop competition. And when I watch it now, I'm like, that's not how to play drums.
Right, that's interesting. Have you still got that then to watch?
I've still got it, yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not going to put it up now.
You're not going to put it up, okay.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going, yeah, it's fast. Yeah, it might be clever, but it's totally wrong.
Yeah.
But nobody told me. Nobody told me at all. I'm just thinking,
That's the thing. If the rest of the band that you're in are maybe not necessarily thinking in that way either, they're never going to tell you to calm it down, or because they think it's really good. Oh, look, I got this great drummer. He can play all this stuff.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't mean. No, I agree with you. But I mean, if the rest of the band are not really concerned,
yeah,
you're never really going to get.
They would say, "Oh, look, oh, we got him playing drums for us." Oh,
yeah,
you know.
I've seen that happen. You know, lots of times, and like if I've played with loads of bands over years, like on different bills, and then I find someone says, "Oh yeah, they've got a wicked drummer," and then I'll watch them and I'll be like, "There's too much going on there." Do you think that's good? And technically, yeah, it's just,
technically it's great, but it's not good for the songs or the band.
No, and it's it can potentially spoil it. So I think that's the big learning curve, and I guess technically what the podcast name is, that's where the inspiration comes from. And I think there's loads of great, like technically great drummers out there. And a lot of them know how to calm it down when they need to.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
No, most of them can.
Everything.
Yeah.
They can calm it down.
Yes.
But it just sparked me up or something. Little story. Years and years and years ago, I was just packing up in the lesson and stuff, and when drummer came in and the kit was there, and I wasn't teaching or anything, but he said, "Oh, I'm doing my grade 8." So I said, "Oh, brilliant." I said, "While I'm packing, I'll have a play along to this, And I stuck on. I usually get them to play along to Bee Gees, stuff like that, like "Staying Alive," for instance. That's it, for instance, because it's got a nice straight groove.
Yeah.
And I stuck that on, and started playing away. And I'd stop and I said, "No, give it 4 on the floor, straight 8s on the hi-hat, 2 and 4 on the snare drum." Okay, press play. Straight 4 on the bass drum, 2 and 4 on the snare, straight 8s on the hi-hat. Nice, just do a move. Oh, okay. He said, "It's hard, isn't it?" I said, "Welcome to the world of drumming."
Yeah.
That's what's all about. That record had probably sold 25 million.
Yeah.
And I said, it wouldn't have sold 25 million if somebody went.
Exactly.
That's not to degrade the player, because, to be able to play all that stuff is incredible. But I just haven't got the time or the patience or the inclination to learn any of that anymore.
Yeah. There's a place for it. They're called drum solos and, all these drum,
I don't like drum solos myself. I mean, I played enough, but I'm not happy about doing them because I feel self-conscious about it. Because again, it takes back to the where's my mind at that particular moment in time? How do I feel? How's my hands? What the kit sounds like? Have I got good monitors? And if I'm totally relaxed and I got a fantastic sound and feel, then I can play, But if my hands are tight, the kit sounds terrible, the monitors are bad, I ain't in the mood. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And there's times where I've had to do it. Every time we play Bananas with Man, I don't know if you know that song. Your dad would know it. But
yeah, I don't know it, but yeah.
It's an old staple Man song where right at the very end, Terry Williams, obviously, he's another guy you need to get on, Terry.
Yeah, okay.
So Terry would do like a bit of a drum thing at the end. And of course, when I joined Man in 97, I went on the tour then in early '98 for like 5 weeks across Germany, playing 2.5 hour length sets every night.
2.5 hours, wow.
2.5 hours, right? And I remember we did 17 dates before we had a night off. 2.5 hours. And by the end of the tour, we did a live album, and I knew everything that what Mickey Jones and everybody was doing, so I knew everything inside out. It was amazing to learn it like that. But lost track again. Where we see my brain.
No, sorry, yeah, you were saying about the drums. You have to do a little drum drum break at the end of the song.
Yeah, bananas right at the very end of the set. So again, some nights I thought, yeah, that was brilliant. Other nights, oh god, that was crap.
How long was the section you had to?
Well, the drum thing.
Yeah.
It could be as long as I want.
Oh, right, okay, right.
Or I felt, but usually about a minute.
Okay.
Minute and a half. You know, depending where I want to take it, which depends how I felt.
Yeah, that's cool though. That's cool.
I felt really good and loose, and the crowd's great and the PA's great. I'll just have a laugh then, or I'll just take it somewhere else on a tangent. You know what I mean? If I'm not feeling brilliant, I'll just keep it really short and do just something really basic, and then just end and just have a beer.
Yeah.
You know. But when I remember, when I was lucky enough to do the tour with Graham Bonnet, I was on the phone to Graham. I was sat here on the phone for like an hour and a half, and we were talking about set. He said, "Oh, you're going to do a drum solo?" I said, "I don't want to do a drum solo, Graham." "Oh yeah, you've got to do a drum solo on Cozy." I said, "I'm not doing a drum solo on Cozy drum kit."
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm not gonna. Yeah. Go on. You know, and I was like, oh, sorry, language, but
So you can swear, it's fine.
I was a bit like, oh my god, drum solo. I don't want to do a dedicated set drum solo. So I said to Ian, the guitar player, I said, look, I got to do this thing. Graham's nagging me to do it. He said, well, how about let's play Kill the King as an instrumental. I don't know if you know Kill the King from Long as Rock and Roll album.
I think I know, yeah.
Diggy, double bass thing. So he said, we'll do the instrumental Kill the King. When the band will stop and you carry on with the and I'll just
play
within that kind of little.
Yeah.
So it must have been only 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and then I would come back out, and the band would come back on, and Graham would come back on. So just maybe to give Graham a break, I don't know. But again, on that tour, I mean, the kit was immense. I mean, sometimes I was like, oh no, it's coming up. It's got to be cool. Because my legs sometimes were like concrete, and it was like we had 2 or 3 minutes of
yes. It's exactly. It's hard to keep that up for a long time.
So slamming hell out of this, and I think, oh my god, my solo's coming up now, but my feet will still be going right the way through. And there was times I thought my legs are going to fall off. The lactic acid built up in them. I thought, I can't keep this up. But
I bet, yeah.
Just head down, I just blinking heck. You know, it was burning sometimes. I mean, that's probably me not being match fit.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you do warm-ups and stretches or anything before shows?
Yeah. Sometimes I don't.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes it's just not.
I do a lot of that.
Yeah.
Just gentle, kind of, and things like this. And then twirl sticks in my hands, do that stick thing, and
cool.
Shake my arms. And it's funny because, do you remember Deke Leonard? You probably don't. Your dad.
I don't know.
Your dad knows. Deke was in Man for years. And when we were touring, just before we go on stage, knowing that I got a 2.5 hour gig, I'd go stand up for this.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
I'd be in the dressing room, and I'd be doing this, and I'd be just jumping on the spot, you know, just doing a lesson. And Dick had his guitar on, and he'd look over his glasses and he'd go, "What are you doing, stupid boy?" I said, "I'm warming up, dude. I'm warming up," you know, because he would just stand there. It's all of you guitarists, you know.
Yeah.
For 2.5 hours, you know, some of the songs were 26 minutes long.
Bloody hell.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 8, 10, 12, 26 minutes was the longest one. And the groove on that was...
So full on. Wow.
So I guess I was match fit at the end of those tours, yeah. You know.
It takes a few shows, I imagine, especially if you're.
Yeah.
I guess you can rehearse, but rehearsal's not the same as a gig.
Nah, rehearsal. Do you know what's weird about it? I found this when we did a tour. If we hadn't played together for, it could be weeks or months, right? Not played, and we start a tour off. We go to Germany. First gig would be amazing. Up, just like wow, we haven't been away. And then it went downhill from there. Third gig, everybody's forgetting bits.
Oh, really? Oh, God.
Like, what's going on? And then it would pick up again. You know this. You know on the tours, you could start there, and then we go, and then you go.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It can vary.
Everybody needs to be in the right headspace, and everything needs to be good. If everything's good, then it's flying. You know.
Yeah. I think one thing that could potentially affect that is kind of like sleep and drinking and hangovers, and that's what plays with your brain and your mind. So people are forgetting stuff. I'm not saying it's definitely due to stuff like that, but if you've had a shit night's sleep, or
sometimes we go out for a meal at like 2:00 in the morning.
Exactly. So you're not getting a proper sleep, are you?
You go to sleep then about 7:30 in the morning, and you're going to be up at 10 to get on the van or the bus to do another 300 miles.
Exactly. So that's
I remember once I got picked up at the house here, and we drove all the way through the night, right across East Germany, southeast Germany, right near the Czech Republic somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we managed to grab a couple of hours kit in the hotel, went down to do the gig, knowing that straight after the gig we had to pack down, get in a van, drive through the night to Hamburg. And we arrived at 11 o'clock the next morning in the hotel, and we were all like this. And I'm like a giggling fool. Absolute. And we sat around the breakfast table, just coming in before we even had a kip, and I just started grinning, and then just burst out laughing and giggling. And George Jones, he's off, he's gone, he's lost it. And I'd be just dribbling and I just thought, no. Slightest thing would set me off. Sleep deprivation.
Yeah, that is a big thing, man.
Then we'd have a couple of hours kip, and then straight down to the gig in the night then, and do a 2.5 hour show. Get to bed about 4 o'clock the next morning. Well, you know what it's like. Yeah,
well, yeah. I'm a bit more strict with myself now. I think I'm the first one to bed in the band.
Yeah,
pretty much.
It's a bit different now, I think.
It's like we're not really a massive party band, We always tour on a tour bus nowadays, but that's mainly the logistics. Instead of driving through the night in a van and not being able to sleep, we can sleep. It's mainly that for that reason. But I'm usually the first one actually in my bunk.
Well, I tell you about tour buses, right? In 2000, I think it was October 2000, we did a 5-week tour of Germany. We were supporting Eric Burdon and the Animals.
Yeah.
This was his man. And this was all on a tour bus. And it was horrendous. I didn't like the tour bus at all.
Were you scared?
No, none of that. They all smoked.
Right.
I don't smoke.
So
you could slice the air like chunks of glue. It was horrendous.
Yeah.
I couldn't go to sleep when I wanted to.
Yeah.
Because they'd be up till stupid o'clock.
Yeah.
And then I'd be up early, and everybody be sleeping, and I'd be tiptoeing around the place. So I'd get out, roll out of my bunk, go straight into the catering, and have a yogurt and a coffee, and just think, all right, what am I going to do now until 3:30 when I got to get my gear out?
I know. I
just wander around the town then, just.
It's nice in a way, though. It's quite nice to clear your head and have a wander, but it'd be nice to do that with your mates as well, if they weren't in bed.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. It's kind of, I'm often one of the first ones awake. My brother Todd gets up quite early as well, and he tends to go. He likes to go take his camera and walk around the city or whatever, which is nice. It's a good thing for him to do. So sometimes I'll go with him, and I try and I don't know. I'm not really into it as much now, but I used to collect like retro video games, right? So that was one thing.
I used to see you post it.
There you go. Yeah. So one of the one of the things I used to enjoy about touring was I try and find like a retro game shop in that town. That'd be my mission for a couple of hours, just to try and find it and see if I can get a bargain or whatever. And Neil, our singer, does the same thing. But it was mainly just to have an activity for the day.
Yes, exactly.
Rather than sit around and do nothing.
Yeah.
Or just, you know, because it's quite weird how quick the day can potentially go. Yeah, you can put a DVD player on or whatever, and like my dad just chills out and watches DVDs and stuff, and he has a nap or whatever. But it's a good way to actually get out on your feet and have a wander with some form of aim. Yeah,
that's great. I mean, I've walked around lots of the major cities in Germany and stuff, and it's wonderful to see the architecture.
Yeah.
I mean, one place we were at, I forgot the name of it because sometimes it's all like a blur in the end, and you don't know. Of
course.
What day it is?
No.
I was at to ring home and say to my missus, "What day is it?" She's Wednesday.
Yeah.
Or, you know, and this one town I was in reminded me of a Universal horror film set, the Frankenstein films.
Oh, really?
Absolutely beautiful. I love all those old horror films, you know. But oh god, I thought, look at this. You can imagine Boris Karloff walking down the street, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's stunning. I mean, you've seen it. Stunning.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I haven't seen them all, but we've done a fair bit of Germany, but there's so many. But it's such a big country. There's so many cities. Like we've probably done maybe half of the main cities. There's another half to do at some point.
Yeah, and I found it to be a very clean and tidy place.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Beautiful architecture, lots of space, and just stunning views. You know, I mean, remember we sitting in the bus, like headphones in, listening to music, just looking out the window, going, "Wow, wow."
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful country when you're there, and I don't think it gets enough recognition as being such a beautiful country. Like I never really thought about it like that before. I'd really.
And Switzerland's stunning.
It's another level, Switzerland, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
No offense, Germany, but Switzerland is amazing. Like visually, it's incredible. Yeah. But we haven't done Switzerland that much. It's a bit of a pain because of the customs thing. Every time it seems like I get a little bit stressy about we have to do our merch counting and you have to declare and you've got to pay the tax on the border just to do one show, and it's such a pain, especially when you go in and out in the middle of the night, because a lot of those borders are not open in the middle of the night. So you've got to try and find one that is, just so you can drive in and do all the official merch stuff. I think, you know, there are a lot of bands who just try and do it illegally and don't declare anything. But like I can't justify taking that kind of risk really, because you can get massive fines if you get caught. So
yeah, probably in Switzerland. Yeah.
You definitely can. Well, you definitely can. I've heard of bands you could even get fined for like making a mistake. Like, or, you know, say if you miss out a box.
Missing a verse in a song.
Oh, no. Yeah, probably.
Hey, I've done that, mind.
Have you? We probably all have. We've all done so.
Yeah. I did that with Man in I think it was Cheltenham Town Hall. I think I went into a different section too early, and it was funny because Mickey Jones or Dick, they just turn around and go,
yeah,
grin at me, you know.
That's good if that's the way they take it.
Oh yeah, he didn't. It's like great. And that night I remember knocking my ride cymbal and stand off the drum riser.
I've done that loads.
Sometimes we get, you know, the risers are never big enough, are they?
No.
I said, it's maybe deep enough, but it ain't wide enough, dude, because the kit goes this way as it goes back.
I get that, and I never understand, because I don't even, you know, me and you probably use a similar setup, I guess, like one rack, 2 floors.
Yeah.
I use like 4 cymbals maybe. Yeah. So nothing massive. But yet I still struggle to get it on these little, I think Europe's a little bit worse. I think because they use meters. I think you get like a 3 meter wide, or maybe 2 meters, I forget. But it's always harder in Europe, I find. Whereas I think a lot of the British ones, they measure everything in feet. So you get that little bit extra. That's what I've noticed. And we always have to, sometimes it gets mixed up because we put our advance out for what we need. And it's quite often I get to a venue in, especially Germany or whatever, and it's just a little square.
Yeah.
So
It's like, why
sometimes,
did they do that?
I'm like, oh, just scrap the riser. We won't bother with the riser,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
a
yeah,
shame because it does
yeah,
look better when you're on a riser, and it separates you from the band and the amps a little bit better. So sonically, it makes more sense.
yeah,
But if I've got to cram my kit on there, or I feel like I'm going to fall off, or what I normally do is gaffer tape my China cymbal, because otherwise it'll fall
yeah.
off halfway through the set, and then I don't want to crack my cymbal. I don't want to. I remember years ago, cymbal fell off the riser. The edge of the cymbal went straight through a cable. I think it was either an amp power cable, or I don't think.
Yeah,
It must have been an amp power cable. So the amp goes off, and like that, and no one realizes that's what's caused it. Until
mm,
a few minutes later, and then. So yeah, you don't want anything falling off a riser. It's a nightmare.
no.
But,
I I probably fall off the back of a riser as well a few times. You won't hold still now, froze.
it's froze. Yeah, hang on. Did you say you've
Oh, you're
fallen?
back.
Did you say you've fallen off the back of a riser?
Yeah, I
Okay.
probably have. I probably have.
Ah, right. I
You know,
couldn't.
you get on the riser, look at it, you know, but yeah. I remember falling out of a van.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, fell
How?
out of a van.
How?
Yeah. Um, I can't really remember. Probably if after the gig, going to the hotel, probably I'd too much Jack Daniels, and
Ah,
just
fair enough.
rolling out of the van. And what else? I remember. Oh, it was with Buck and Evans. I
Oh
bent
yeah.
down to look at the tire pressures or something, and somebody opened the van door and it slid back and
Oof. Ah, that's nasty.
banged me on the bones.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah.
I've had a few injuries. I think on the last British tour we did, I think it was Norwich. I put it online, so you might have seen it. But basically, I went up to do my sound check. That was one of the tours where I've got my mate Di, who does my drum. He sets up my drums for me. So I've actually got like a drum tech. He does. He
That's
does.
a luxury, that is. When you got a good tech, it's awesome.
It's a luxury. He kind of doubles up as a guitar tech and a drum tech. But he sets up the kit for me, which is nice. It frees up an hour or whatever for me, and he packs them away for me at the end. But yeah, so it was a big steps up to the stage. I think the stage was maybe 10 feet high, maybe 15 feet high. Then yeah, I walk up onto the riser. There's a big black curtain behind the back of the stage, and sometimes there's a wall. I think I just assumed there was a wall, and I stepped up.
Didn't do it, did it?
I leant into it, or something happened, and I landed on my back. Luckily, my completely messed my ribs up, so I had to. Luckily, I was all right. I went for an X-ray the next day. I played the gig in agony. Played the gig. We were a bit worried because I'd kind of passed out on the floor and I'd gone unconscious and stuff.
Really?
But I knocked myself out, and I came to then, and I think they thought I'm all right, but they did call an ambulance. And I was like, once I came to, I was like, I don't need an ambulance. Don't waste it. I don't want to waste their time. I'm a bit shocked. I'm hurting. My ribs are hurting. I think I had a big gash in my arm. But I still got a bit of a scar. But yeah, I did the gig. We went to get an X-ray the next day just to check, because we had about maybe a week and a half left of the tour, and it was like, well, let's just check I'm all right. And they said it was just bruising, so I just bruised my ribs and stuff. But it's crazy. You've got to be careful. But that was just because I just assumed there was just a black curtain. I assumed there was something solid behind it, which is my fault for assuming. Because most gigs, there's
a big sign up. Please don't lean on the curtain.
Yeah, well, I thought, because then I did think, oh, maybe we should, like the venue, they kind of checked I was all right. They didn't really apologize for like it not being marked out properly, you know? Like normally because there was that was it. The back of the stage didn't have like a tape or marking to say white tape. So we put that in ourselves then after this happened. And that's what they should have done, because most stages there's white tape around all the edges of the stage, and they didn't do that. So I did think, oh, maybe I should sue them or something and try and
Yeah.
make a few quid out of it. But I didn't get around to doing that.
Yeah,
But
because we don't make money in this business, do we?
well, that's the thing. Yeah, like I know it was part of me thinking they're probably struggling. You know, I'm lucky enough. I am technically professional now, just about. Well, now I'm not during the coronavirus, like packing cheese for a living. But I was then. But like, just scraping by, just about. You know how it is. But but part of me was like, I do feel a bit bad if I was trying to sue a music venue because they're all struggling. It's all hard.
Yeah.
So I just left it in the end. I'm all right now. So, but it was at the time it was scary, and I just thought, someone else. This might happen to someone else.
Well, I fell off a stage. A stage ramp.
Yeah.
You're loading in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was carrying a drum riser frame, collapsible frame, up the ramp. The ramp, it moved right to the edge, the lip of the stage. So it went.
Oh my God.
I think it was probably about a 6-foot stage.
Yeah.
But it dropped like a stone, and I let the thing go, and I grabbed the monitor on the way down.
Oh, and that fell off as well, did it?
But yeah, luckily it didn't land on my head. Right? But, I hit the floor with a boom. I was okay. I mean, but Christ alive, it could have been worse.
That could have been. Oh, bloody hell. Okay, normally there's a good overlap. I know what you mean when the.
Yeah, but the use it just edges backwards. And,
I never thought about that. I've always thought they're really secure, so I'll be careful.
Well, probably this day and age, it's health and safety now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I thought. With the other thing, like, how is this being passed as safe? But yeah, fair enough.
It froze momentarily just for about a microsecond.
It's going to happen I can't do much about it. The wife's probably watching Netflix or something. Probably.
Mine's watching Netflix upstairs.
Oh, is it? Oh, fair. You must have better internet.
My son is in the conservatory playing Marvel's Avengers on the PS4.
Oh yeah, any good?
Marvel's Avengers, he had it the other day.
It's a new game, isn't it? My friend was telling me about it. I'm not really into Avengers and stuff, but no, that's cool.
I can't play games anymore.
No.
Since they've gone to those analog.
Oh
games,
yeah.
I can't. I like driving games.
Yeah.
I can't steer a car like this.
I'd
rather the old touchpad. I can't do it. So I just don't bother.
Fair enough. I still love it. It's one of my hobbies apart from drumming. It's my other main hobby, but it's hard to find time when you're grown up really to do it.
Yeah.
I did treat myself to an hour yesterday on it, but I think luckily when the analog sticks came in, I was like still a teenager, so I kind of adjusted.
Oh, he's amazing on it because he spends about 27 hours a day on it. Get it? Yeah.
Jealous. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. So let's talk about obviously the band. Like we've already mentioned both of them, Buck and Evans, Son of Man. They're kind of current full-time bands that you're playing in. Mm. Yeah, you released an album last year, didn't you, with Buck and Evans? Was it the year before? Last year.
I think it was last November. I think, and the Son of Man album that came out early this year. I think. Don't get me wrong. I mean, George is probably going, "No, you're idiot." It was.
No, I didn't. But people can go and check them out now.
Yes, there's obviously websites and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram for those bands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they I think it's on Cherry Red, Esoteric, or the Son of Man album.
Oh yeah.
And the Buck and Evans one is our own label. We did it ourselves.
That's cool. How did that? I've always been a fan of doing things that way. So how did that work? Do you think that worked out positively in the end by choosing to do it that way?
To be honest, Chris and Sally worked out most of that kind of stuff, but I think it gives us more control.
Definitely.
In terms of, where it goes, because we just license it out now. we can just license it out. It's all on iTunes, Amazon, and all that stuff. Both of the albums are,
Yeah.
So,
but what's good is obviously you. Nice. And obviously the good thing is that the sales go directly to you then, not to a label, and then you get a tiny royalty from that. So that's a good benefit.
that's the plan. But again, in this business, you don't make any money.
Nah, it's not. Yeah, especially with streaming and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that's
it costs
rubbish.
a fortune to put gigs on. It costs a fortune to get the gigs. Costs a fortune to do everything. But back in the day, where bands would sell hundreds of thousands of singles and millions of albums because that's the only way you can get to listen to it.
Nah,
I mean,
it's not. It's completely different. Yeah, it's completely different. I think, like Neil, our singer in our band, he manages a pop band as well, so he gets access to all the charts every week, the album charts and the single charts, and obviously all the numbers, the sales are declared, and like it's nowhere near how much the actual amount you need to sell to get in the charts. It's
yeah.
so small compared to what
Yeah.
you would assume from back in the
It's
day.
37 copies now, eh?
Something it's not far off, honestly.
Yeah.
Like
Back in the day when like Slade would release a song, it would sell 500,000.
yeah, I know. And now if you sell a few thousand, you can get in the top 40 and stuff. It's in that week,
Yeah.
But that just shows how much has changed from back in the day.
I think the Black and Evans album was got in the top 5 of iTunes.
That's cool.
One particular chart, and I can't remember what it was.
Nice.
But I think, oh, that's cool. But like, how many did that sell to get in there?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You could have as many streams as you like. You probably earn about halfpence.
It's not, well, Spotify is, I think it's 0.005 pence a stream. So then if you say 4 or 5 of you in the band, divide that by 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like that. That's what we're working with.
0.00.
Yeah, honestly, it is. It's something stupid like that. And then if it's
allowed,
yeah,
shouldn't be allowed.
it shouldn't be allowed. It's just
he's raking in the billions. That fella.
Yeah, I know.
There's bands and musicians that's just struggling.
So if he's well, I don't get it. If he's raking in the billions, the Spotify guy, it shows that it is generating money. So why isn't that money spread out to the artists? I just don't understand how it can't be done more fairly. Because he's obviously making money from the subscription. I pay a subscription. I pay like 15 quid a month to do it, and like I do use it a lot. Luckily, I use it for podcasts and stuff. So I kind of do utilize it. But it shows how much money is generating. So I just don't understand why the royalty isn't more fairly spread out. Because it's just going to one bloke basically. It's not fair. But unfortunately, that's the way the industry works. So your bands are forced to use these things because that's how people consume it. And if you're not on there, you're going to have less people coming to your gigs.
True.
Less people buying your merch because they're not going to find you. They're not going to hear about it. So you're forced to include yourself in it, even though you don't really believe that it's a fair thing to be a part of. I've been
buying some vinyl again.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Just albums from back in the day of bands that I kind of knew of, but I didn't really get into that much.
Right.
So I'm kind of it reminds me of when I used to go to Woolworths to buy the latest album or something of whatever band.
Yeah.
And, like, take it home and stare and read everything on it and play the record and stuff like that. So these albums are from 40 years ago that I've never heard. But from bands that I've kind of seen at Donington but never really paid that much attention to. So now it's a new album for me and it's 40 years old.
I know what you mean, yeah.
So I got all that to look forward to. I mean, it's probably because I'm ancient. It's like there's not a lot out there now I'm interested in, really.
Like as in new music.
As in new stuff.
Some good stuff out there, but it's finding something that clicks for you is difficult. Yeah. I'm similar in the way that there are some bands I think, they're really good, but they don't quite hit me there for me to kind of think I want to go and follow them and buy all this stuff.
Yeah. I like, people used to say to me, oh, what music do you like? And I'd say, well, Mozart to Motorhead.
Yeah.
That's what I say to them. I say, well, it's got to, music has got to have a melody, right? And it's got to have a groove.
Yeah.
Feel good. it's got those ingredients, good melody, good groove, and you can whistle the tune.
It's good.
It.
Yeah,
That's all
yeah.
you need. That is all you need.
Yeah.
And I am a sucker for melody and stuff like that. And,
Well, yeah.
And good hooks.
Definitely. Well, that's especially commercial kind of stuff. If it has a hook, well, it's the same with rock, really. A lot of these new like rock bands, or they call them like classic rock bands, but they're new band. Some of them are so the hooks are incredible on.
Yeah.
And it's essentially like pop music, but with guitars, and they've all got long hair and tattoos and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's good.
In the apps up to 11. Yeah. No, that's good. I like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's cool. And I guess it's how much, like, in the world of rock, what can you do really to make something new that hasn't already been done? It's really difficult. So
Often I think simplicity is the key, because I remember donkeys years ago, when I'm trying to write songs myself, I think I can't write a song because everything's been done. And I can't think of anything original until my brain went, everything's been done, nothing's original, just turn something inside out. Take something apart, just play something simple. So then I've written quite a few songs now. I'm a lazy songwriter, I've got to be honest, right? I mean, unlike other guitarists, because they pick guitar all the time, and you know, I got loads of guitars around the place, and I've even got one of Bucky's guitars over there, and he brought down one of the straps. And I just think, oh, I'll go pick it up. So I go and pick the guitar up. Yeah, there's a couple hanging behind me there. But I go and pick the guitar up, and I can just like start mess. I think, oh, that's cool. And I got to record it on my phone. So I record the riffs on my phone. So I've got probably about 20 odd riffs or chord patterns or melodies on my phone. And they've been there for years. Because I'm lazy.
You've never done anything with them?
Well, some I have, and they were on the first Son of Man album, some of my finished songs, you know. But it's like having the inclination to sit down, go through all that and start working out again. I think, well, now I got Logic Pro on my kit. The other day, I actually put a riff down, drum pattern and bass, and a couple of licks over the top, and it actually built the section.
Brilliant.
And I thought, wow, I done that. And I was like, yeah, well, just do more of it.
Yeah, you just got to make the time, haven't you? You've got to put the time aside to do it, yeah.
Yeah, all the inclination, yeah. But it's all there. And again, sometimes you think, how can I write a melody? How can I write words? Well, how I used to do it, especially for the songs on this first Son of Man album, what I did, I had to play the demo in the car. I'd be driving, and I would hum a melody over the top of the music that's coming in. And I'd keep humming it, think, oh, that melody's good, and the syncopation's good, okay. So I'll find words then that'll fit that melody.
Nice.
And then if one line would come out, oh, I like that, that's good. Then that would kind of dictate the next one, and the next one, and you see a pattern, and think, oh, wow. And you can see where it's going. And that's how I do my songs.
Awesome.
You know? Again, it might be different to some guitar players or whatnot, but you know, like I said, I'm a lazy songwriter. Like a lot of stuff there. Or if a line or two comes into my head, I'll write it down or stick it on my phone, but it stays there forever. We're gonna just like, you know, can't be bothered. But I got a few brewing at the moment. But who knows when they'll see the light of day?
No, well, hopefully they will at some point. But you've got the gear now. You can lay them down yourself, and like you said.
Yeah, but it's frustrating when you think, how do I? What is that? What's that button do? And then you hit the wrong button, and you've erased it, or you bloody.
It's been like that for me doing these podcasts. I don't have Logic, but I kind of had to teach myself. I use Audacity as like a free program, but I had to kind of teach myself how to use that from scratch, just to put. I guess it's a little bit more simple with the podcast stuff, and I have to import audio files and stuff like that. But I don't know what 70% of the buttons do, or half the effect. I don't know what half of them do, but I've learned enough to make these podcasts now. But
I might have to go back to GarageBand because it might be easier.
GarageBand was quite easy. I used to use it on my iPad, but it was limited. Obviously, you can plug things into your iPad, because it was called an iRig for plugging a guitar into it.
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, but my iPad now it's like one of the, I think it was an iPad 2, so it's a bit ancient. It's so slow. It's completely useless now. But what? Yeah, I'm going to get myself a little audio interface. I think because I've got a guitar.
That's what you want.
And I've got an electric kit. Yeah, you've got the Focusrite. Yeah. I've got a different electric kit than you. I've got a 2-box Drum It 5. I don't know if you've heard of them, but I'm sure it is a way of connecting that up if I wanted to. So I could actually make my own little demos.
If there's a jack output on it, right?
Yeah.
Is it a stereo out or 2 monos?
I think it's got 2 monos. I think, yeah.
If you get a Focusrite 2 input, you can put those 2 leads into the front.
Yeah.
And then you can actually record the sounds that's coming out of the brain of the kit.
Yeah, rather than MIDI and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, or you can do it via MIDI, and then you'll have the sounds of the program on your Mac.
Yeah, and that's what I never really got around to understanding is how MIDI works, especially with drums. Like I remember doing it I went to uni, and you had a little MIDI keyboard, but it was all hooked up for you. Like I never had to really understand what's connected to what's connected to what on the programs, because it was just like you open up Cubase and then I could put any sound I wanted onto this keyboard, but no one really showed me how to set that up if I wanted to do it. And I remember finishing uni and I was like, I really want to get into composing. I was really into it at the time. And I bought a laptop, like a Dell laptop. I bought myself an M Audio little interface, and I had a little MIDI keyboard that my friend Gareth gave me. So I was like, yes, I'm all here. I've got guitars. I got whatever I want. And I just couldn't get anything to work. I couldn't get things to talk to each other. Different
oh God,
drivers and things like that. Yeah. You could download this, and I was just like, and I just gave up. I spent a few months on it. Couldn't get it to work, and I was just like, I was gutted because I'm like, at the time I was like, I want to get this to work. This is what I enjoy doing. I really enjoyed doing it.
Yeah.
And then I've never gone back. I've just played drums in bands. I get a little bit involved in the songwriting, but in terms of composing my own stuff, apart from dabbling on GarageBand with a touchscreen, and I've never really.
This is what I use.
Oh, right.
It's an app that looks like an old vintage tape recorder.
Nice.
And I call that up and I just hit record and record the riff that comes into my head or something, and I just save it on the phone.
That's
loads of them on there.
That's good for little just simple ideas. With like I've done that on like the sound recorder on my phone or whatever. I think I found stuff on there the other day, like some bass line I'd probably written 6 years ago that I've never shown anyone. It's like, what's the point? But yeah, I'm going to try and
but then you find something else and it'll go with that bass line, and then you start to go, oh yeah.
Hopefully, yeah. I guess that's the idea.
Or you get the thing where it's like, oh, you're the drummer, you don't write songs, shut up.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of people think that.
The drummer,
I know what you mean. Nah, exactly. Look at Dave Grohl. That's all. That's the argument there.
Yeah.
So
Roger Taylor, yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Oh, you'd be good to get on. Imagine that.
Nice shirt, by the way.
Oh yeah. I thought I'd wear it.
Proper Cymbal.
Like Pasty 2000.
I got my Harley Davidson one again.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you go out on your Harley yesterday? In the end.
I did.
Oh, good.
Most of the day.
Good. No, that's good.
Ended up buying another T-shirt. Terrible. Oh man. Yeah, best cymbals in the world.
Let's talk about your cymbals then. What do you use then? Let's talk about them.
Right. When I joined Adrian Smith, I was using just bits and pieces, hotchpotch and what have you, and I've always loved the pasty stuff, obviously, because Powell and Pacey.
Yeah.
And Powell and Cozy Powell and Pace are my biggest influences, really. From the Whitesnake and the Rainbow days and stuff like that. I love Cozy's attack and style, and I love Pacey's finesse.
Yeah.
So that's where I come from.
Yeah, you're like a mix of them both.
Well, it would be nice, hopefully. But,
yeah.
I mean, if it was good enough for them and Bonham and people like that, and they just sounded amazing and just looked like $1,000,000 on stage, you know.
Yeah.
And when I was with Adrian, he said to me, obviously because Nico was a pasty in Dorsey, Adrian said, well, do you want to see if I can get you some pasty cymbals? Yeah. So I got the phone number of Mike Brooks, who used to be the paste guy back in the day. I rang him up and he was wonderful. Yeah, whatever you want, you know, just pay a little percentage.
Yeah.
Something like 22% or something, I don't know. But
Nice.
back in the day, you know. And I had these like boxes full of brand new pasty 3000s it was at the time.
Right. Yeah, I've never used those.
Turn up at the rehearsal room in Slough when I was rehearsing with Aid. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine? It's like, oh my god! And I had, because I was using my double pearl export kit at the time in chrome, right?
Right.
So I'd have 14-inch heavy hi-hats, 20-inch crashes, 18-inch crashes, 2 Chinas. I just had loads of stuff. I think 3 crashes there, 2 crashes in the middle, 2 crashes there, 2 Chinas up there.
Wow. It's a bit Mickey D-ish, kind of like.
Yeah, before I knew Mickey was then.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But that was the kind of the Tommy Aldridge setup, the Bob Rondinelli and all of that. Just wherever you shut your eyes, wherever you go,
you can hit something.
It's
yeah.
There.
I've never tried like making a setup like that myself. I've always been quite minimal, but I imagine it's really fun.
It is, because if you close your eyes, wherever you go, there's something there. And another thing about if you've got your cymbals on, I don't use the old wing nuts anymore.
Right.
I've got these cymbal sleeves. You just drop the cymbal over, and it's straight on.
Oh, nice. Straight
off, right?
Cool.
But they flap a lot. So you give it a good whack, give a 20-inch crash a whack, and it'll just go boom like this. So if you come back for a second whack, it could be on a downstroke.
Yeah.
So then bang, bang, and that's when the other one is handy right next to it, or above it or something, you know?
Yeah.
So, but again, other gigs I've done where I've had to take my cymbals up, and there's a rental kit, and I have to screw them down. I'm thinking, I need to go back to this because that controls the wash of the cymbals.
That's correct, yeah.
Just a little bit. So I'm going back to what it was back in the day. And I thought, I like that because they're not washing too much now. Because that big wash affects how you strike them because you think it's not going to come back in time or whatever. But I might go back to those. But for ease of use, I use these cymbal sleeves. You just drop it on. And
it's quicker. Yeah, it's much quicker.
Mega quick. And I also use these sim skins, which is like a protector.
Right.
Like a black sock
nice.
Sleeve with the cymbals. So I could take them out of my case with the sleeve on, drop it straight on the stand, and it's ready. And awesome. When the engineers are miking up, they're not touching my cymbals because that does my boxing.
I know what you mean.
Touching my cymbals again. George,
I know you're a bit fussy with. I remember you're a bit fussy with fingerprints, aren't you?
Oh man. Oh man. Engineers, they miking up and they bang the cymbal. They go, sorry. And I go,
I know when they twat it with a bloody mic stand or mic lead or something.
Because I've had my cymbals a while, right? And they look mint. And people say, God, these nice cymbals. I've had them 8 years. I said, but I just don't touch them.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is cool.
I don't touch them.
Do you ever choke them during the set? Or do you not do that kind of stuff?
I do, but I don't do that.
Right.
I just either palm it like that.
Yeah,
or arm over the top, or just I don't kind of do all that because that's when you end up with a big ring of finger marks all the way around the cymbals.
Like mine, probably. Yeah, I know what you mean.
If I saw yours, I'd go, no, get your clean out,
I know that's the thing when it all depends on the situation. I try not to. Like I'll try and hold them on the edges and while I'm placing them on, but that's
exactly what I do. Hold them like a vinyl. 12 inch.
Yeah.
That's why I got the cymbal sleeves. Skins.
I might look into them, but
oh, they're brilliant. Yeah. When you're packing down, the sim skin goes straight on the cymbal, right? And then you take the cymbal off the thing straight into your case, so you can pick them up normally.
Yeah, that does look good. Yeah.
Well, I keep them in the bags they come in.
That's what I try to, and then they just get ruined. They do on.
Yeah, they do.
And the problem is, like I said, when we do headline shows, I tend to have that guy setting them up for me, my friend Di. And it's just like making his job harder by telling him, oh, I don't want you to touch my cymbals with your fingers, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, do I just feel like a bit of a prick?
No, because they're your cymbals and they're going to look tight. They're going to sound good, look good, you know?
He sometimes gives them a little wipe, you know, he gives them a rub for me and all that, but
I always go around it all and give them a polish and check all the angles and the heights. I'm even so bad as to look at my bass drum and see the actual lug screws on the bass drum, right?
Oh, really? Yeah.
Like on my vintage Premiers, they're offset lugs.
Right.
Or the screws are offset, just one size, like an L rod.
I know, yeah.
Right? I can't have an L rod pointing out or in or whatever. They've all got to be flush with the shell shape. Honest to God.
Enough.
And I can't have any leads hanging over my bass drums. Some engineers, they might make it up, right? I had the black kit, and they put red leads over the bass drum. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
This is a work of art. This is a beautiful vintage work of art, and you're covering it in bloody different coloured leads over the bass drum instead of running it across the floor.
Yeah,
like,
that is. I've seen that, and it's annoyed me.
You can't see. And another bugbear, right? Sometimes I don't use a port hole, right?
Right.
Now that is because I like the old style boom of the bass drum. So I've got a PS3 on the back, right? Which is a single ply with a damper lip, right? And a PS3 on the front. Or I would put a single ply with a felt strip.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Old style.
Old school, yeah.
The damp on the front edge. So you get the impact with the back. It would fire the air forward. It would shift the front head out, away from the felt strip, create the boom, then it would come back and it would take the top end off.
Yeah.
If you tune them right, the sound is just unreal. It's got a huge bottom end, big thump on it. And other times I've got ports, right? The head with ports in. It's for ease of use because some engineers just can't be bothered to get the sound out of the bass drum without the hole. We played Chepstow Castle 12 years ago with Man.
Nice.
I took my Silver Sparkle, 26, 14, 16, 18, Premier vintage, right? No hole in the bass drum, right? And of course, it's all tuned. I take my time. And I love my drums, right? So this engineer, he came up on stage and he was younger than me, right? And he went, got no hole in your bass drum. I said, yeah, I know. I said, yeah, sounds great though. I'd be the judge of that. He said I play drums as well. Of course, I started going. I was trying to set my drums up. And he was then putting mic stands in before I put my cymbal stands in.
Yeah.
Another bugbear.
That's annoying, yeah.
Let me set it up, then you can come in. And then he was going, anybody got a spare CD and a razor blade?
Seriously? What?
Not happening. Right? Not happening. So that really got me back up. I was quite annoyed then, right? So anyway, we did the sound check, we did the gig, and coming down the ramp afterwards, he said, sorry, mate. He said, they sounded incredible. I said, yeah, I know. I said, because I took my time to tune them and put the right heads on them.
Yeah.
So he learned a lesson then.
Good.
A young engineer who went to college probably was and said, this is how you do a bass drum. Cut a hole in it, fill it full to the brim of blankets, so it goes, right?
Yeah.
And then put all the stuff on it on the desk, make it sound like John Bonham's bass drum on the desk. Well, hang on. How about making it sound like a bass drum before you even put a mic on it? So it goes,
yeah.
And that's what they don't deal with that. Can't deal with it. Like.
Nah.
Some of the older guys, and I say to them, I haven't got hold of my bass drum, and he goes, yeah, fine, great, no worries.
Cool.
They're used
to doing it, yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
You know? I remember we played with Hawkwind once, and I had the Black Premier. And the Black Premier is the one I use on the ACDC videos, right? That one, right? 26, 14, 16, 18.
Nice.
And he was going, oh man, the engineer, what a sound. And I hit my 18-inch floor tom, and he said, that floor tom sounds better than any bass drum I've had over the weekend. I was like, wow. Do you know what I mean? Cool. And these old vintage Premier drums, man, it's just, that's how I love them.
What kind of...
How I got into that, right?
Yeah, go on, yeah.
Obviously, my grandson had the Premier drums when I was a kid, right? But then I went to Pearl because I wanted the big double chrome Pearl export. Then I decided in probably 99 or something, I said, I want to get an old Premier, a vintage Prem. So I got the shells off eBay, 24, 14, and 216s. So I couldn't pick up an 18, they just wasn't available.
Right.
And I thought, I'm going to wrap them myself. So I stripped them all down, and I ordered red glass glitter from America. And it came all pre-cut on a roll. It weighed a ton, it was crushed glass, it just looked stunning. I don't know if you've seen the pictures of the red one.
I think I have, yeah.
So I remember I was sat in there, and Mrs. and the kids were in bed, and I thought, I'm going to do that now. So I was up till 4 o'clock in the morning, bells on the floor over there with clamps and tape and stuff. And then I drilled all from inside, put all the metalwork back on, and I put the floor toms together, put the heads on, and they got cast hoops, beautiful cast hoops. And I remember hitting that floor tom, and I went, what sound? And I put this kit together, and I took it out on the road with man, and they all loved it. All the band went, wow. It just looked beautiful and sounded just immense. And that was it. Then I was on eBay all the time. Oh, Black Premier kit, have that. 26-inch bass drum, get that. I rewrapped that, so I'd wrap kits, strip them, and that's all my kits.
So they've all come from different kits technically, and you've made them.
Pretty much.
Right.
Pretty much.
Ah, right. Didn't know that. They look amazing though.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much they were all bits and pieces that I'd have either wrap them myself, or I get my mate Dave Pauly to wrap them for me, because he's an ex-pro and retired, and he loves partnering about, you know.
Yeah.
But the Silver Sparkle, my mate rang me up, he said, there's a Silver Sparkle on eBay, 26, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, 275 quid.
What?
What? Straight on it. Speed reading it twice to make sure, bang, buy it now. And I picked up an 18 for that then, so I wrapped that.
That's incredible.
You know,
I never see bargains like that whenever I look on eBay.
Because I know they're going to sound immense.
Yeah.
Because they got 3-ply shells, nice fat reinforcing rings in there. The bearing edges are not that sharp.
Right.
They got more of a contact with the head.
So they're more rounded, or?
Yeah, slightly more rounded. They're not sharp like a 9000 or anything like that.
Right.
Because I think with the drumming industry, it's all cycles. Back in the day, shallow 14-inch bass drums.
Yeah.
And then 16, 18, 20, you know, and back again. So,
you
know, just doing this. The toms were doing this.
Yeah.
You know, my prems are all made in the 60s, 70s, and early 80s, and they were all of the shallow depth.
Right.
You know, you don't need it. I know it's all. They got to sell product. You know, and you can't knock them for that. Otherwise, it wouldn't be there. But you know, you don't need to be spending $5,000 on the top of the range drum kit. And I've done fly-out gigs, right? And you've probably done this. You do fly-out gigs, and they say, "Oh, you've got a so-and-so drum kit." I won't name them. Got a so-and-so drum kit today. I go, all right, okay, worth thousands. They get you play it. It's like the next day you've got a different kit, a different make. Wow, yeah, that's better. Or what have you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my kit cost me a few £100, and I just rewrapped it, put good ends, it tunes up, and it blows them away.
That's amazing. Yeah. Like I don't tour with an expensive kit because I've owned the expensive ones, and they are you know, potentially great, and a lot of it's to do with the look and the finish and the fact of depending on where they're made and stuff.
Yeah.
But I did sell a lot of my expensive kits. Number one was I was too afraid to tour with them because I didn't want to get them ruined, which I know sounds silly, but they get a bit scratched and battered and rusted. You can't help it. This condensation in backs of.
Little tip with that condensation. Get the silica gel bags.
Yeah. I do that.
Get them off eBay and chuck a few of them in each case of the drums.
I have done that. That does help. Yeah, that does help definitely. But yeah, I had this. I play Sona, you probably know, and
yeah, of course, yeah.
And I remember when I was they announced the Beach Infinity kit a few years. Well, it's probably maybe 10 years ago, showing how old I am. But and they did it was a white or cream white finish, matte finish, and I thought, oh, that looks amazing. And there was a video of a guy on YouTube, sounded great, beach shell, medium beach shell. I sounded amazing. I had a contact with him at the time, so I'm like, oh, I can get it slightly cheaper than retail. Still a lot of money,
Yeah.
but I was working. You know, I was like, I didn't have a house. You know, that's when you can afford to buy gear because you don't have bloody mortgages and stuff. But I got it, recorded an album with it on the first day because it arrived just in time. We were about to start recording an album with my old band, Straight Lines. They did, you know, we got it sounding pretty good considering it was a bit of a rush and I didn't really get to experiment with heads. But soon as you start touching it, because it was white, cream white, matte finish, fingerprints, like even though I didn't even know how these fingerprints came on because I was trying to be careful with it, other people touching them, and I was like, I can't tour this. And at the time I was in a band, you're expected to share your kit with the support band. You know, definitely that's the level I was at. I was, you know, we'd like maybe do a little headline tours in little clubs, but you've got to share the kit because that's just how it works. There was no room for like 2 kits, or I'm like, I can't tour this. So I kept it as my rehearsal kit, and I used it for a music video, so that was nice. I never toured with it, and I just felt like, why do I? It got to a point I was like, maybe I should think about getting rid of it because it's not practical for me to own this. It's worth a couple of grand. I'm not taking it on the road, so I don't own it anymore. I got rid of it, and the kit I use on tour, and I have been touring with for a few years, is just one of those Asian-made Force kits because they sound great for what they are. I didn't spend a hell of a lot of money on it. If it gets a ding or a scratch, I'm not. Obviously, I'd rather it not get scratched, but if it happens, I'm not going to be like, oh, I spent $2,000 on that or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And it sounds great, and sound engineers tell me like, oh, this is one of the better kits I've had recently, or they just assume it's an expensive one. I'm like, no, it's not an expensive one.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, a drum is a tube.
Yeah.
Plastic edge on top and bottom.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And it's how you hit them as well, I guess, is
part of it. Tuned out and blah, blah, blah. But drum companies say, oh, we've dug this piece of wood up from the bottom of a bog that's been there for 500 years and we carved a drum out of it. It's, well, all right, then how do you explain Perspex shells?
Yeah.
Plastic.
Yeah.
Drum bottom. Sound amazing. So a plastic shell, a 500-year-old piece of wood that charged, you know, £1 million for instance, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, you can make it, as long as it's a tube, it's got a bear and edge, it's round.
And it's actually round, yeah.
You're going to get a sound out of it. So, listen, they've got to make money. Otherwise,
Well, they've got to keep bringing product out. And, you know, if now I'm at this stage where I'm not sharing my drum kit with other bands. I have been looking at maybe, especially for this new album cycle, I'm like, oh, should I treat myself to like a slightly nicer kit? Might get a black one. It might look cool. Nice black kit. And I have been thinking about it. And so I just don't know if it's going to be worth it. You know, spending all that money. Is it going to sound better than the kit I currently use? And if it doesn't, I'm going to look like a bit of a dickhead.
Not really. No, but you won't. But you won't, will you? Because you change a kit. I've got bloody, I don't know, 12, 13 kits.
Yeah.
But they're all different colours, different specs.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, what am I going to use? Oh, I'll take the red sparkle tonight.
It's good to have the choice. Yeah, it's good to have the choice.
I'll take my white one tonight, or I'll take my oyster blue, or I'll take the grey shimmer, I'll take my whatever, silver star, you know. It
is nice if you know you've got them stored somewhere and they're safe and you've got the space for it. I think that was part of it as well. Of like at one point I owned like 3 German Sonar kits, and I'm like, one of them stored in my mate's house where we practiced. The other one's in my brother's studio, and I had one in my garage at the time. So it depended on what kind of gig was happening logistically, what I could use, or one of them was just set up in my mate's house constantly. So it's not as if I could. It was more effort to go and get that, pack it away, to take it to a gig, than it was to leave it there. So I just left it there. and like I don't really need to own them. They were all really good in their own way, and I think I just had to use my head for a little bit. And I've still got a few in my garage, like small. I've got one with a 14-inch bass drum. I've got a 16-inch bass drum, 18-inch bass drum, and I've got like a vintage 70s one with a 20-inch bass drum.
Oh, nice.
It's a swinger kit, Sona swinger kit. I used that recently on a recording, so it was nice to actually use it because it's just been in my garage for a couple of years doing nothing in cases. So it was nice to actually use that. But I'm not doing many. I bought all those kits thinking when I was doing lots of little pub shows with a few guys I used to work with, and it was nice to take a different one every time. Like you said, well, I'll take this one tonight, or this one's an acoustic gig. I'll take a smaller bass drum, or I know the venue's really small, you know. So I didn't spend a lot of money on them because they're quite low end kits, so I don't mind keeping hold of them because I don't have a lot of money invested in them.
I played some I played some really cheap, low budget kits that are 250 quid, right?
Yeah.
But I put Remo heads on them and tuned them up, and they'd gone.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do, isn't it?
That was amazing.
Yeah. So it's for any drummers out there, like, yes, it's fine to lust after these really expensive kits, but you don't need them.
No, as long as you tune them right.
Yeah. You can still record, you can still tour and play gigs without expensive kit.
I did a festival once, just remind me, I did a festival once where I had to use his kit. And the guy who owned the drum kit, I looked at that, he would clear heads, he'd put sponge underneath each drum head.
Oh my God. And
the heads were slack. So it was good, you'd hit it to go.
But it'd just be, it wouldn't actually be a drum.
What am I going to do with this? How can I do any of my subtle double stroke things? And impossible. So I said to him, I said, oh, dude, I said, if you took that sponge out and you did a little bit of tuning and they would sing. Well, I don't want them to sing. I said, but it's really hard to play for you like that, mind you. Oh, well, I like it like that. Okay, and walk away. But it was just insane. It was like hitting a wet pillow. Yeah, it's just he just wants an attack of some form, I guess. Yeah, but then you got no rebound. No, nothing. You got no feedback. No, but no sustain of any form, or no notes or anything. Nothing. Yeah. That sounds terrible, to be honest. Yeah. It was terrible. Like I do dampen my toms, but I still allow them to project a note and have a tone. I tend not to dampen any of my stuff. Right? That's cool. I just want to go doom, 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 doom. You like the long sustain? Absolutely love it. Cool. Yeah. The Cozy's Yamaha, I remember when I was first tuning that, I've had it for 20 years now. It's a 9,000 recording custom, right? Right. So what I did with them, I actually found a cassette of Cozy playing in Hammersmith, and I heard him go doom 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 doom, and I pitched the notes on my piano, ding dang dang dang. Oh, right. Right, that's it. So I stripped each drum. I started with the first rack, 15 by 12. Turned it upside down. Put the 15. Sorry, 15 by 12 is the first rack. What? Yeah, 15 by 12. So I got a candle. This is a good tip. Get a candle, like a tea light or something, and just rub it around the bearing edge. Right. Okay. Get your finger then, and rub that candle wax into the bearing edge. It smooths it out, and it helps to seat the head. Right. Okay. Tightly, to get contact. So I did that, put the rim on, and the rims are solid steel. Right. They're not cast or whatever you pressed. So put the lugs in, and I pitched it up, all equal, until that bottom head played a B flat note. Or whatever it is, I can't remember. Pitch perfect, but played B flat. Then I turned the drum over. I did exactly the same with the top head, B flat. And I'm not kidding you, right? It took me a while to do the whole kit, but my God, the difference was staggering. That's how you get the longest sustain, isn't it? By tuning them the same pitch. Generally. boom.
Nice and clear and without the dissonance. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Without all those overtones going.
Yeah.
Wow. Second one, A flat. And the second one, rack. Second rack was 15 by 12, both the same.
Oh, okay.
Same. First floor tom, 18 by 16, right? Same thing. So we were B flat, A flat, D flat, B flat. Right, octave.
So what dimensions was the second floor tom? The same again? Or?
18 by 16.
That's interesting.
And they were the heads were Remo CS, black dot on a smooth white.
I know the one, yeah.
And I remember hitting the floor toms, and they rang for a fortnight. It was like, fucking me, that's just phenomenal. And the difference, just incredible. The bass drum's a different matter, right?
Yeah, it is a bit different.
Because he did have damping in there. He had a big hole in the front, and he had damping in the back. So it was just a thud, basically.
Yeah.
But let's not forget, that kit was always going through probably a 40k rig every night. So the bass drums are like 50 cannons going off.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, but what a difference. So I recorded, I know we digressing again, but I recorded my first album with the band Shy from Birmingham on that drum kit.
Nice.
So it's Cozy's drums on there. And it's phenomenal to listen to it, you know what I mean? I did the second Shy album with Cozy's kit.
How did you get hold of Cozy's kit? This is another story. How did you know it was available? Or?
Well, a friend of mine rang me up and he said, "Oh, I've just had a newsletter from Drumright Drum Shop in Reading." He said, and they're selling Cozy Powell's Chrome Yamaha. And I was just going on the phone in the kitchen. No, I just bought a new car.
You have to buy it. You had to buy it.
You know, I was like, the flyer. You see a picture of it. I was like, and he described it on the phone. He said, two 26 by 14s, two 15 by 12s, two 18 by, and I was going in chrome. I was going, oh! So I rang the shop the next day. He said, "Oh yeah, we've still got it. We're selling it on behalf of a customer." I said, "Oh, all right. How did he get it?" "Oh, we think that he picked it up from a rehearsal room where Cozy left it, or gave it to a rehearsal room, and this guy bought it from the rehearsal room and stuff like that." So I was planning to go and see Iron Maiden, right? It was June 2000.
Right.
And I made phone calls to this shop. "Oh no, we've still got it. I said, "Well, can I call in Sunday morning?" Because I was stopping over. So after the Maiden show, and I called in at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I went upstairs, all these drums stacked up, and there he was, just stacked up on top of the bass drums. I was like, wow, I had it for an extremely insane, stupid price. And I was driving on the M4 with this in the back of the car.
So it was actually inexpensive.
Oh,
So was it advertised as Cozy's kit, or was it just? Oh right. See, that's strange. You would have thought they would have jacked the price.
This is 20 years ago.
Right? I
Right?
suppose.
He died 3 years previous to that, but there wasn't the build-up of, you know, and stuff. And because back then the trend was small drums, small
Right.
bass, this was a fucking monster.
Yeah, I guess back then it was like little fusion kits, and yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Nobody wanted it, you know. And I remember they always saying to me, "Oh, we're waiting for verification from Japan." But we never had the verification from Japan, right? But being the bloody Hawkeye I am with drums,
You just knew, yeah.
especially Cozy's drums, you know, I remember watching all his videos and looking at pictures and looking at the badges, the nuts on the cymbal, everything. I was looking at everything in his kit.
Yeah.
And I watched Slow and Easy video from the Slide It In video with John Sykes and Neil Murray, Cozy and Coverdale. That one with his flames are coming up at the end.
Yeah.
When that first came out in 84, 85, I was looking at that video, I was thinking, has he taken his stickers off the drums? Or was that a new kit? That's a new kit. That's another kit, that is. That's a double badge on that. Because they didn't double badge it. It's a double badge, eh? And the nuts are different on the tom mount noodles. That's different. Yeah, that's different spurs on the bass drum. I was clocking all this in 84, 85, right? And of course, that's the one I got.
Right, amazing.
The second chrome kit. Because then Peter Williams, who was Man's roadie and driver. Now, Peter used to be tour manager for Motorhead.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he did. Cool. I remember Lemmy loved Peter. And Peter said to me, he said, Cozy's old drum tech, Ashley Williams, lives in Pontardawe. Here's his phone number. And Ashley was lovely. I said, I got this chrome Yamaha drum kit. Yes, he said. I said, it's got dark shells inside. It's black. Oh, I don't remember any dark shells inside. No, here we go. You know. Anyway, he said, come down the house, bring it down, he said, and we'll have a look at it. Yeah, right on. So I chucked the tom in the car. Drove to Pontardawe, went in and met him, and he was lovely. Sue was well. Ashley's gone now, sadly. He died in 20. But he was a lovely man. And he went, looks a bit new and clean, that does, he said. And I said, look at this badge here, Ash. I said, it's got number 1 written on it in red pen, or red Sharpie. And to me, as a drum tech as well, I used to do teching, that would mark out number 1, Tom. Because
they're both the same size, yeah. So you know which one's which, yeah.
And then he went, Sue, I used to have red markers in my case, didn't I? Yes, Dan. Hang on, he said. He went upstairs, got photographs that he took of Cozy playing from the side. Private photos. And we scanned it in, looked, zoomed in. There was the number 1 in red on the badge.
That's the one then. You know who it was.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot. I said, think, and I got to know Ash really well. But I ended up knowing more about Cozy's drums than he did.
Sounds like.
He was just a tech. You know?
Yeah.
And when I played the CIA with Man, right, in 2001 or whatever it was, I used Cozy's kit. I thought, I'm going to use that beast in there. You know?
Yeah, it's got to be done.
Ashley came down, right, and I remember coming out of the dressing room now to come up and pack the kit down. He'd already started.
All right.
Bless him, he'd had a few beers. And he was strewn all over the riser on the stage. And I said to him jokingly, what are you doing? I said, you don't know anything about that drum kit. What are you all about? You don't know what you're doing. Like, winding him up, you know. Because he was Cozy's tech from like 83 to 85. Rock in Rio, they did, 100,000 people in Rock in Rio. That kit was all over the place, And I just winding him up saying, put it down, you don't know what you're doing. Bless him. But he gave me loads of stuff, private photographs of, that he took the Cozy playing, gloves, stickers, bloody bag, everything. Just give me tons of stuff. Posters from Japan.
Wow.
Special. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, we're digressing again, aren't we?
No, that's fine. That's what I want to talk about. So, go on. Let's tell me about the ACDC thing then. Go on.
Right.
How did that happen?
Right. I was actually sat right at this very spot. Don't know what I was doing. Wife was over there. I don't know, whatever. And my phone goes. And I didn't recognise the number on my phone, so I'm not answering that. And then another number came up, and it was Ray, the bass player in Southern Man at the time, Ray Jones.
Right.
Oh, Ray. Hiya, Ray. All right. I was sat here. He said, my brother just called me. Now, Ray's brother is Dick Jones, who's Phil's tech.
Right.
He's been working with ACDC since back in Black Days, 1980.
Wow.
So it's that long Dick's been there, He said, my brother just called me, and ACDC are in London doing a video shoot over the weekend. But Phil hasn't turned up. And I'm like going, in my head, what's that going to do with me? Why are you at? He said, are you available tomorrow? What? What, for me to do it? Yeah, are you available tomorrow? Would you go? Yeah. And my missus looking around, because I thought somebody died, and she's like, what's happening? And he said, my brother will call you in 5 minutes. Okay. So Dickie rang me. And I met Dickie before, so I kind of knew him, and he said, he said, Ray gave you the lowdown. I said, yeah. I said, is this true now, Dick, or what? Oh yeah. He said, it's tomorrow. They're shooting 2 videos over the weekend, and Phil's not there. Can you do it? Do you want to do it? Are you interested? Can you, Yeah, of course, So then we talked about, I said, well, do they know I'm coming up? Do they? Oh, yes. And it's been known to me, Dick and Ray had been talking in the daytime, and Ray had sent him pictures up of me and clips and what have you, and showed Angus. I said to Dick, I said, do they know I'm coming? Yeah, we've showed Angus, and he said, yeah, he'll do, kind of thing, send him up. So I said, well, what kit do you want me to bring? What have we got? I said, well, I got red sparkle, blue, whatever. I said, I'll tell you what, my black one will do. The black one is better, most suited for the.
Yeah.
So that was in a van in Merthyr, because at the time I was playing with Celtic Pride, doing stuff for them, and I had to ring Don, and I had to tell him I need the kit now. This was like 8:30 in the night. I think it was a Thursday evening in October. Actually, yeah, next month is coming up like six years. Yeah. So I had to tell him. He was like, "What? You are?" I said, "No, I'm not. I'm not. I need to come up with the drums now." So I haven't got the drums. I told him about it. He said, "Oh, awesome." So I couldn't sleep that night very well. I was up at, I left at 7 o'clock in the morning. And I arrived at the studios about 10. And Dickie was there. We unloaded the kit. And I remember the director, David Mallet. Now, David Mallet directed tons of music videos, Queen, all ACDC, films and stuff. What was really funny, he looked at me and said, I know you, I've worked with you before. I said, no, you weren't, but no. Not yes, it'll come to me. He was great. He was. So there was 2 rooms, right? One had a green screen, green walls. And the other one was like a built-in round with seats going all the way up, like a circus ring. So the first day we had to do the green screen. So me and Dickie went and set my kit up, and it was the Black Prem 26, 14, 16, 18. Now on my bass drums, you see I got the BR thing.
Yeah.
I've had that on there for over 20 years and all my kits. And I said to Dick, I said, think that's a problem? No, you'd be all right. He said, as long as nobody don't say anything, don't worry about it. Don't say anything about it, So I'm like, wow, So that was all set up. And he said, right, take up the dressing room. He says, I'm telling you all of it now. It's all the long thing.
It's fine, yeah.
Yeah. I said, you sure you want me to sit in the band's dressing room? Yeah, be fine. Oh, okay. So I went in the dressing room, like all food and drinks and coffee machines and nice chairs, and just sat there like, and then in comes Dickie, in comes the band, the wives, girlfriends, what have you, and they were like, oh, Bob, thanks for doing this, great, and making a fuss of me. They were fantastic, and Angus's wife said, let me make you coffee. Have a sit down and make you coffee. So I'm like, yeah, thanks, blah, blah, blah. It was incredible, Back of my head, he was going,
I can imagine, yeah.
Bonkers moment, but I didn't show any of that. It was like, just like I'm talking to you, all normal.
Yeah.
They were brilliant. And we had some grub in there, and I was sat with Angus eating his soup, and we just chin-wagging about stuff. And then the director came out and said, right, boys, you need to come down and start running the stuff. But prior to that, Dickie had emailed me the first track.
I was going to say, did they send you the song?
Yeah, it was Play Ball, right? So he'd sent me that, so I'd listen on my phone half a dozen times just to get where the crashes were, or it's really minimalistic, right? But I just wanted to try and match what Phil had done, So I'd had that in my head. And so we were getting changed. I remember getting changed, and Angus put his outfit on. He was having a fag out the window, and the 5 of us were stood there in a circle. Just, right, I said, hope I look all right for you boys. I got my waistcoat on over my t-shirt, and, they were like, I look great, I'm just fucking bizarre. And in my head, I was going, fuck me, I'm in ACDC.
Yeah.
Just the 5 of us. And the director came up and said, right, come on down then, let's go. Remember, I was following Angus down the steps. And I thought, it's like walking down to Madison Square Garden, or whatever, just bonkers. in my brain, I thought I saw these at Donington in 1981, 84, 90. You know, it's like NEC and just nuts. You know, so we walked down to the first set. We played ball, green screen, all crew in there with cameras on, tracking devices and stuff, and we'll just go on with it. You know, I just tested the kit out and give it a good whack, and it was really loud in there. They had 2 monitors behind me, so they played the music back through that, you know, and it was really loud. And I remember Cliff saying to me, you know, I forgot to turn my bloody hearing aids off, you know, and it was really loud, really loud. And another thing I remember, they were talking to me over the bass drum, and I remember Angus saying, is that a 24? It's big. I said, no, it's a 26. He said, ooh, I'll give a bit of a thump. You know what I mean? Yeah. He was all chatting. They were just normal guys. It was amazing. And then we just counted in off the playback track, and we were in. I was just going in the back of my head. Last night I was sat in my kitchen. Now Angus Young is duck walking 6 feet in front of me. Brian's turning around and giving me like, you know, wink, and then Cliff's laughing. It's like, and just if you ever seen play ball video, just before the guitar solo, you could see Cliff look at me and smile and laugh, like, because he actually turned around to me and he went, "All right, Bobby boy." And I went, "Fucking mental." You know, you can see Cliff turn and laugh. You know,
I didn't know you were in that video as well.
Yeah, 2.
Right, didn't know that. Yeah. I just thought it was Rock or Bust. Oh, that's mad.
2. Yeah, 2 of them.
Wow.
So, and then the director said, "Okay, can we just have Bob on his own, please?" And Brian said, "You're on your own now, son." And then they all fucked off up to the dressing room. I was on my own, so they had just track in front of me. So I had to play through the song with the camera in front of me, and I was just in my head going, "Don't smile, don't laugh." And I didn't know where to look. It was nuts.
It is odd.
Yeah. So then we were staying, me, Dick Jones and Jeff, the guitar tech. We were staying in a hotel local to that. We had a fantastic night at the bar. Jeff, the guitar tech, was wonderful. He was just telling so many stories. It was a great night. And the next morning we went in, and it was Rock or Bust, the actual title track. Then that was in the next studio.
Right. And
fair play to Dickie. I said, "Oh, I'll come and give you a hand on the drums." "No, I'll do them." He said, "That's my job." I said, "Wow, I'll help." You know, putting the kit up and stuff. And I remember we set it up, and their backline was there, their Marshalls and their guitars and stuff was all there with my drum kit, you know. And I tell you what was bonkers. I had a text off Glenn, mate of mine, plays guitar in Centre Man. He said, "Bob," he said, "are you playing with ACDC now?" Because a photograph had leaked out, and he recognised my drum kit.
Wow.
The BR on it. So I had to ring him. I said, "Yeah, but just keep me quiet." I tell him what's going on. I kept me quiet, you know. I didn't tell anybody I was doing it, unless they had to know that I need to tell you this, because I got to do with it. So then we did the Rock or Bust thing. So again, we went back at the dressing rooms, you know, I'm really changing and going down, right, let's go. And I said to Brian, I'd gone down the steps, I said, "Oh, Brian, there's 500 fans from around the world in there, right, expecting Phil Rudd." I said, because everything's kept quiet, you know.
Yeah.
I said, "They're going to walk down them steps and they can say, 'Who the fuck is he?' And you're like, 'Don't worry, man, don't worry.'" You know, and they were just wonderful. Brian introduced me over the mic, and they were all going, "Bob, Bob, Bob." I was just like, you know. And we did like 2 or 3 runs of that track, and the cameras going over the top and all the way around on the dollies and stuff. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then Brian said, "Come out for a meal tonight. We'll all go out for a meal." So that's what we did. We met him in Chelsea, in his local. And we went upstairs, and I sat next to him all night. It was me, Brian, Dick Jones, Jeff, and Brian's wife. I just sat next to him all night.
Wow.
And I was just being normal to him. Didn't ask him about the band, didn't about anything. Just talking about cars and crap. And then he said to me, "What are you doing tomorrow?" I said, "Oh, I'm going home tomorrow. I've got the drums loaded in the case." I said, "Oh, we'll have some photos done tomorrow, and I'll call in." I said, "All right then." So I called in, and Brian's Ferrari was outside, the red one. And I went up, and they were all set up. There was a Sony picture shoot for the new album and the tour program and all that kind of stuff. So I was there all day with them, having lunch with them and stuff. It was Brian's birthday then, by the way.
Oh, wow.
And, I've just sat chatting to Cliff, and Angus's guitars are right in front of me, and I was just thinking, can I pick him up and have a little try? And I thought, I better. I wish I did, but and then they were having their photos done over the way, this backdrop and stuff. Photographer from New York and stuff, and then Angus's wife and the tour manager came over and said, "Bob, do you want to join him in some photographs?" I said, "Yeah, right then." So I just walked in, and they were there waiting for me. Brian said, "Come on, Bobby, lad." So I stood there, Brian, and I'm like, Brian. And I was thinking in my head again, shit, I'm in ACDC. Having these photos done, it's just in my mind, I was transported from Donington '81, watching them playing For Those About the Rock album and the Back in Black stuff and whatever, to stood behind Brian and Angus and having photos done with them. A millisecond went like that. Oof.
Yeah.
Just mind blowing, But and then I saw him then, and well, to be honest with you, I came home and I didn't say anything to anybody, nothing at all. And then the Monday morning, it went mental. This went mental. Because all the fans from the video shoot from all over the world saw me. Back to that day, when I came down to make sure my stuff was packed away, they all come around me like bloody, just, can we have a stick, we have photographs, we sign this. It was like insane, absolutely insane. But of course, they put me into Google, didn't they?
Yeah.
Monday morning or Sunday, when they had their phones back, all over the place. My phone went mental. All my mates were ringing, people were ringing me. What's this? What's happening? What are we doing? So, whatever. And I didn't say a word to anybody. Didn't post anything. People were posted on my wall. Oh, you got the gig, I said, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. I didn't want to talk about it. Because that's what they like anyway. They don't want anybody talking about it and stuff,
Well, no, well, yeah, especially, yeah.
And just to be that close to like one of the biggest rock bands of all time.
But I'd say they are the biggest band.
Like that.
I think they are the biggest band in the world, I'd say.
I mean,
them and Guns N' Roses, Metallica.
I went to Wembley, right? It was wonderful. They treated us really well. I had laminates, everything. And I watched it from the sound booth. And when it came on Rock or Bust, as I told you earlier, I kind of filled up.
Yeah.
Emotional.
I bet.
Having been that close and doing the videos, just watching them playing it live in Wembley Stadium. And then I remember going backstage afterwards. I saw Brian, he gave me a massive hug. And he took me out to see Angus and stuff. And Angus's wife, Alice, said, "Oh, everything all right? You okay?" I said, "Oh, it's a bit emotional, mine." I said, I was waiting for my phone to ring,
Yeah.
She went, "Oh, we thought about you a lot, an awful lot," she said. Because Malcolm had gone, you wanted a familiar face to steady the ship. I said, "I totally understand. I'm fine with it. I am fine with it. I have been fine with it. It's just it's a moment that I don't think about it. Sometimes you get reminded of it, and it's like, you know what I mean? It's just, it happened. And sometimes when I really think about it, like sometimes when my missus says to me, "You played with ACDC." Yeah, mad, isn't it?
It is mad.
And they've had 65 million views on those two videos, something like that.
Well, like I said, I didn't know you were in the other one. The Rock or Bust is on 44 million.
Yeah, Play Ball's 20 million, I think.
Yeah, that's probably right. It's insane. 60
odd million for the two.
And that's people watch you. So that's how many people have watched you play drums with ACDC.
with my vintage Premier kit, and stuff. Yeah. And yet, I remember I was playing in the office in Swansea with Celtic Pride like a week later.
I played there.
Oh, wonderful gig. Debbie,
yeah.
Wonderful. I felt everybody's eyes just going like this, staring at me. And I know why they were staring. I grabbed the mic. I said, "Right, I have not joined ACDC." And I started laughing and right. I just did the videos, right, And I had to play ACDC covers with the boys as well. What do you think? what? You know, you can fuck your head if you let it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it sounds like you've dealt with it well, and
Oh man,
you know,
I'm fine with it.
yeah,
I'm
you just
fine with it. I'm sure some, some people could have crumbled with it, being that close to getting all back to having a couple of days rehearsal and and see if it fits and even getting a gig. Because I got on so well with them all, especially Stevie. We swapped phone numbers and we talked on the phone, and he came to see me in rehearsals in Birmingham with another band. He was great, to be that close.
well, you never know what the future might bring, mate. You never know.
I'm fine with it, Dane.
Yeah,
I'm fine with them. I'm fine. I'm fine with it. And to be honest with you, playing with Graham Bonnet was the big thing for me.
yeah, I bet. Yeah, that was huge.
He's one of my favourite vocalists, and Down to Earth by Rainbow's my favourite albums. That was the album that kind of turned me to this genre and that style and stuff. And then to speak to him on the phone for an hour and a half, and basically I told him what set I wanted to do, because he was so amiable. So I said, well, I want to base it on the Down to Earth set that I saw when I was 15 at Donington. I said, but minus the big solos, minus that's when he nagged me to do a little solo. But anyway, and I said, I want to do some songs that you never played live off the Down to Earth album as well, which we did.
Cool.
So I ended up playing a Rainbow set based on the Down to Earth tour with a singer from Rainbow that I saw at Donington. Off Since You've Been Gone. I played those songs with him in front of me with Cozy's kit. And he'd be turning around on stage and looking at me over the drums going, I go, fuck. Prince Since We've Gone with him or wherever, Eyes of the World. It's just, that blew my mind.
Mental. How did that opportunity come about then with the Graham Bonnet?
My mate Ian from Birmingham, who was in Shy with me, he's a big Blackmore fan,
Right.
an Amsterdam fan, and we said, let's do a Rainbow tribute band, because he had a Purple tribute band that I helped out and played in and stuff, which I love all the Purple stuff.
Yeah.
And I asked Carl Sentence to do it. I said, Carl, would you want to sing these? Yeah, let's do it. So we did several gigs at this Rainbow tribute band with Carl Sentence singing. It was banging, I gotta be honest. I was stickler. I said I want it exactly as it's supposed to be, like the record. Right? The sounds, everything played as it should be. And a promoter rang me up once. He said, I think they're getting Graham Bonnet over. How would you feel if, getting your band to back him? What? Fucking right. So that eventually come to be. So we did like a British tour on Cozy's kit, playing Rainbow songs with one of my favourite singers of all time, off one of my favourite albums, in front of me.
Fantastic.
Just,
so I see they just flew him over and provided him a band. Yeah, right. I get it. Right.
Yeah, and he loved it because we sounded, because I said I want this to sound, you shut your eyes, sound like Rainbow did out front, because I was such a stickler for it. So I played all the parts like Cozy did, with that style. Ian sounds like Richie if he wants to. He can sound like anybody, but he's that style of playing. The keyboard player Neil, he got all the sounds in all the right places, everything correct, and it was just like wow. You shut your eyes with Graham singing. Fuck me, is this like from 40 years ago? It was insane. Wow. I remember we were in Edinburgh. I think it was the Liquid Rooms in Edinburgh. You might have played it.
No, I haven't actually. No.
We were playing Catch the Rainbow, the long song. It was nice and slow. I had my head down just playing cross stick and just ride. And Graham started talking to the crowd about how Don Ailey rang him and told him Cozy died. And I'm there, and on my brain started going, shit. And Graham from Rainbow was talking about when Don called him to say Cozy died. And I just started.
Sorry, tears, yeah.
The emotion was it was bonkers. Right? You know what I mean? Some people might like to say, oh, you dull bastard.
No.
But being a Rainbow fan, being a massive Rainbow fan, Cozy fan, Graham fan, being in that situation, fucking nuts. It's just nuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's, and you know, he's a good mate now. And a couple of weeks ago, it was August the 16th. It was the 40th anniversary of the first Monsters of Rock. Right, 40th anniversary of the first Donington. So I had a Donington day. I was playing all the bootlegs and stuff, and then I watched the DVD of Rainbow at Donington. And I messaged Graham. I said, "Great." I said, "I'm having a Donington day." I said, "I'm watching the DVD," and he messaged me back. He said, "Oh, hey, Bob, good to hear from you." He said, "That's a gig I'll never forget."
Oh, wow.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That was 40 years ago. You know, but yeah, that was the big thing for me. You know, another bizarre moment is playing Eye of the Tiger with Dave Bickler, the original singer from Survivor.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Another one.
Tell us about that. Yeah, yeah.
Looking at Glenn and the boys in the band, you know, we had Jim Kirkpatrick on one guitar from FM, right? And he says, "I'm the one who gets to go like this." To bring the track in, you know.
Yeah.
Well, again, I had a call from the same agent saying I'm bringing Dave Bickler on. Can you put a band together for a tour? Yeah, you know, we had to learn all a set of Survivor songs and a couple of Dave's solo album songs, which is a brilliant album, by the way.
Okay.
So I got the band together. So I had Glenn Quinn from Son of Man on guitar. He's the first man I put on the list because he's brilliant. Keyboards was Marco from Son of Man. Bass was Dominic from Buck and Evans. And another guitar player, Jim Kirkpatrick from FM. So we learned all these Survivor songs. We first gig was in London in the garage. Went down a storm. Brilliant. So we were playing these rocky songs, man. We played Eye of the Tiger and Burning Heart.
I can imagine they were mental, yeah.
But and we all looked at each other going, "What the fuck did we get here? What the fuck?" You know? And then it's like, you come, and then Rocky's on the telly, and they're playing Rocky. It's like, how did that happen? It's just bizarre.
And that's amazing. It's good that they come to you. It's great that you had that opportunity and they thought of you to be the man to put the band together.
Yeah, well, it's only because they did the Graham thing, and you know, it was a good band and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
But lots of bizarre things like that. Another one that came to mind was 10-Pole Tudor, Swords of a Thousand Men. Ed Tudor Pole, the guitar player and singer, supported Man in the Patty.
Right.
Backstage, he said, "Do you want to get up and play this song?" I said, "Well, all right then." So we made a scratch band, literally there and then. A couple of my mates were there who knew it, who could play it. We had a little bit of a run through and dress. We went up and played it with him.
Crazy.
You know, and Swords of a Thousand Men, you're too young to know what he was, but he was a big hit back in the day.
I think I might have heard it. I think I have heard it, but it's not something I would know well. No. That's fantastic. And then what's the Dave Edmunds story?
Oh, well, I was in Germany on tour with Man, and we were in Lubeck. We did a gig in Lubeck. My phone goes. I was Paul Martinez, bass player. Now, Paul was playing with Edmunds at the time, but Paul had also been in Robert Plant's band, and he played with Led Zeppelin at Live Aid in Philadelphia. That's we don't know who Paul is, yeah.
Wow.
And I knew Paul, and he said, "Can you do a gig with Dave? Dave Edmunds wants you to do a gig in end of May somewhere." I said, "I don't know, Dave. I've never met Dave." She said, how does he, you know? Oh, he's phoned a few people and, you know, spoke to Kingsley, Rockfield and a few other people, and, you know, your name come up, and, you know, we want to do the gig. So then Dave rang me at home, and we went down and had rehearsal in Rockfield, and they ended up doing loads of gigs with Edmunds that year. He's a phenomenal guitar player.
Yeah.
Playing songs like Girls Talk and Queen of Hearts, the songs that I went and bought as singles as a kid.
Yeah, when you were a kid, yeah.
I'm doing backing vocals and playing these songs with Dave Edmunds. And Paul Martinez has played with Led Zeppelin over there on the bass. You know, and this is basically Rock Pile, the band Rock Pile. And there's Geraint Watkins on the piano, Billy Brenner on guitar. And turn around, you're in Belgium in this huge festival, and there's Susie Quattro.
Well, she was watching.
She was watching. It was nuts. And follow on to that, back in the hotel in the evening, we were all sat around this big table, all having a drink. And Susie was, I think she was sat there. And my phone went. It was my dad. "Oh, the gig go, son?" Yeah. And I said to Susie, like, and I said, my dad. She would give me the phone. So she grabbed the phone like that. She went, "Hello, Susie Quattro speaking." And my dad, he dined out there. He went down the club. He said, "I rang our Bob, and I spoke to Susie Quattro."
That's amazing.
Just things like that, just like bonkers.
Yeah, so good memories, man. It's awesome.
Well, yeah.
You never know what's.
It's all bonkers, but it's all memories. Yeah, exactly.
And you never know what else is going to come up. What? Sorry, what were you going to say?
The Bill Ward story.
Yes, I don't know about this. Come on.
Well, we were playing a gig with a man in Blackpool.
Right.
Peter Williams, who I told you earlier, was Motorhead's tour manager for a while. He was driving us. And he had a phone call from Mikey Clement, who's Tony Iommi's guitar tech. Now, Mikey's from Swansea. And I hear him say, "No, I can't do it. I won't be home till 6 a.m, but I'll get Bob will do it because he lives nearer." "What's that, Pete? Will you take Bill Ward to Bristol tomorrow?" "Yeah, all right." So I was down Mono Valley Studios at 10 o'clock in the morning, right? Coming from Blackpool. I was a bit tired, but hey, pulling into Mono Valley. Ever been to Mono Valley?
I have once, yeah.
Beautiful place. I've done some demos in there, and huge doors, and it's just a beautiful place. So I remember going in there, meeting Mikey Clement, and Ozzy came walking up towards me, right?
So had they been recording there? Black Sabbath had been recording, rehearsing, right?
Tony'd already gone, but Ozzy came walking in the room, and I thought, "It's Ozzy there." And Mike said, "Oh, Oz, this is Bob Oz." And I shook hand. And I remember Ozzy putting his hands in his pockets and pulling out some German Deutschmarks. I said, "What the fuck is this? What's this?" And Mike said, "Oh, Deutschmarks, Oz. We were in Germany last week." Oh, it was bizarre. And I remember Ozzy was on his way home. He was going home, right? And his Range Rover was outside, and his personal assistant was driving him. But my car was in the way, right? This is bonkers. So Tony, his assistant, kept saying, "Oh, can you move your car, please?" "Yeah, no worries." So I like moved my car. As I pulled my car back, Ozzy was in the passenger seat of the Range Rover. I pulled my car back. The Range Rover came out, and Ozzy let out the window and went.
Wow.
It was just another bizarre thing. But then Bill came down with his case and his nice jumper on and nice short hair. He was a lovely man. He jumped in the car and I took him to Bristol. Took him to a hotel in Bristol where he was meeting his son. And we had like a conversation all the way down, and told him I was in Man. And he said, "Oh man, what a great band." He said, "I saw loads of times, blah blah blah." And
Nice.
lovely fella, Bill. And then we drove past the Colston Hall, right? And I said, "I went to see you in there with Sabbath on Heaven and Hell tour." And this is blew my head. It's like from 15-year-old watching Heaven and Hell.
Yeah.
He's now in the car passing the bloody gig, Bill. And he said, "Oh yeah, I remember that time well. My mum had just died and stuff like that. So I didn't." He said, "I didn't have a good time back then."
Oh, right.
But he bought me lunch in a hotel. We had dinner. What a lovely man. Lovely man.
You see, he comes across, like, obviously I've never met him, but he comes across nice and down to earth in interviews and things.
Oh, yeah. Articulate and, lovely fella. Lovely fella.
He's a great drummer as well.
Oh, yeah. Underrated.
Well, I don't think he is underrated because most of the people I've spoke to.
Oh, as an influence, he's influential.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, in terms of, I think, I know what you mean. I think, influential, most of the guys have said Bill Ward was like one of my influences back in the day. And I didn't really I've always known Black Sabbath. I think my dad took us to, I think it was Ozfest or Donington when Black Sabbath headlined. And I didn't appreciate it at the time, which is stupid. I was quite young. And so I think I've seen him live. But then when I got to like 20, I think it was 23, 24, I went through a big Black Sabbath phase. I did. And then it blew me away just listening to the first few albums. The first one album, absolutely mind blowing. Yeah. And I think it did.
It's all real as well, isn't it? It's all real.
Yeah, it's all real. Yeah.
Playing, just, yeah.
And I blew my mind. So like, I think I've been influenced indirectly because all of my influence have probably been influenced by him. But actually listening to those first Sabbath albums properly opened me up because he did everything from like a kind of jazz world that he was just in a I guess,
Yeah.
metal,
Swing. Yeah.
jazz swing stuff, lots of triplets and
Yeah.
a lot of swingy stuff. And I was like, but
Yeah.
it still
Same
sounds,
on them, you see, because those older guys, next generation above me, they were
yeah,
listening to swing stuff, big band stuff, and Louis Bellson stuff, double bass drum Louis Bellson,
yeah,
and some jazz kind of influences. And then they put that style into that current heavy thing that what they did, you know, which then created a whole new genre itself.
totally, yeah. So that's why I was quite fascinated because I think I'd heard a lot. Like, I guess everyone knows Paranoid, and I guess that's probably not the best example of the jazzy drumming.
Oh,
And that's what I thought Black Sabbath was. And then to actually go back and listen to all the albums, I was like, oh my
yeah.
God, this is mind
Some of his
blowing.
films are brilliant,
Yeah.
you know, very musical and
Yes,
colourful.
exactly.
And colourful is his own words. He said to me, he said, I colour the music,
That's
you know,
really nice.
which it's an emotional kind of attachment to it, isn't it? You know, which is why I go back to saying about how I do it. Emotionally, you got to like use these, and this, and feel it and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But the Cozy Bash I do every year. Oh, I remember I kind of knew Neil Murray a bit and Don Airy a bit and Tony Martin a bit, and we were having this meal up in Cirencester. And I said to him, I got Cozy's kit. I said, I want to do a memorial concert. I said, if I do, would you guys take part? And we play those songs. And they all said, yeah. It was like, as soon as I left, they went, wow, now I've got to organise this. Now I'm panicking. You know, I had to put a core band together. Then I had to kind of organise the set, the songs. You know, so it was going to start with Rainbow. Then it's going to be MSG. Then Black Sabbath stuff.
Yeah.
So it turned out to be 3 hours of music of all those bands, of all the big, well-known numbers of those bands.
Amazing.
I got, the MSG stuff, I got Ted McKenna, who sadly passed away only 3 weeks after it.
Oh,
Ted
wow.
was playing the drums and the MSG stuff. Chris Glenn on the bass, who was in Alex Harvey and MSG. I had Neil Murray playing the Whitesnake and the Black Sabbath stuff. And Tony Martin was singing the Sabbath songs as well.
Nice.
Different. Harry James came in from Thunder on the drums. Russell Gilbrook, because I know they were Cozy fans as well. So I phoned these guys up and asked them. Mike Tirana is another one,
Yeah.
and obviously Ted McKenna. And this year, Nigel got involved.
Nigel Glockler.
Yeah, he loved it. He had to scream. Of course, they all played my Cozy kit, and so I had the set written out, and the drummers would come in and do 2 or 3 songs each, you know. And I the first Cozy Bash, I was stressing out like, oh man,
It's a lot to organise. Yeah, it must be so much to organise.
it was rammed, and they loved it. I had video screens playing videos, I had stuff going on, and I was like, yes, all right. And it's like, hang on, I'm running around looking for people. Bob, it's your turn. You're up next. What? Oh, didn't even have a chance to change. And it was the same this year. Didn't have a chance to change. Just mental. So they was playing some Rainbow songs, and then I did some Whitesnake songs, and I remember we did Walking in the Shadow of the Blues, which is one of my favourite Snake songs. Again, I saw him back in the day. I looked to my left, and there's Neil Murray stood there. And I go, dun, 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 and I'm looking at him in my head going, fuck me. One of my favourite bass players stood there, and Neil goes,
Nice.
I played Cozy's kit with Neil Murray there, you know. Just blew my mind again. And then when we did the Sabbath set, I played 2 Sabbath songs with 2 members of Black Sabbath.
That's incredible, yeah.
With Tony Martin singing out front and Neil Murray on the bass. Playing Headless Cross, you know, and those Sabbath songs that Cozy played on.
Yeah.
They are the things that stand out for me. Playing with Graham.
Yeah.
Playing with these guys from Sabbath. And then this year I did the Michael Schenker stuff with Chris Glenn. That was another bucket list, you know, so, because I grew up with Cozy playing in Michael Schenker off the Budokan album, so I knew every bloody fill, everything, even with the cowbell went. And I even borrowed the actual cowbell that Cozy used from Rainbow on the kit. I made that it. So it was a bit of a laugh, really.
Yeah.
Even with Graham, I go, Graham, bang, 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 and he go, oh, it's the cowbell.
You
So
recognize the pitch of it.
oh yeah, it's the same cowbell used on Stargazer.
Oh wow, right, fair
Off the
enough.
record.
Wow.
And he did Donington, well, I had it on the kit then. So, yeah, I mean, just that blew my mind. To work with these guys on stage, just that's a dream for me. All that kind of stuff. Work with Graham, work with the guys from White Sabbath, obviously the DC thing. So, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, you've done. Yeah, exactly. You've ticked a lot of boxes.
All my boxes, whatever.
Just enjoy whatever comes.
Yeah.
So obviously this year there's not a Cozy Bash this year, presumably because of this virus and all that.
Because of this nonsense, yeah. And I won't say anymore.
You would have done one otherwise.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Done it. People, the feedback I had from it was phenomenal. The reviews were coming up and the people were saying, "Oh my God, best gig I've been to all year."
Wow.
All those songs we grew up listening to in one night with people who were in those bands with him.
Yeah, that
which
is
is
amazing.
basically what I would have wanted to see.
Yeah.
So I put on what I wanted to see.
Incredible.
Yeah. And they just can't wait to next year. People flew in from Japan,
Wow.
Ireland, Scotland, everywhere. They flew from everywhere.
What venue was it in?
The Robin 2 in Bilston.
Right.
You must have played the Robin 2, haven't you?
I have no. I can't say I ever have. No.
It's fabulous venue right in the Black Country in the middle of
Right.
the Midlands.
No, I definitely haven't done that.
Great place. I played loads of time.
What kind of capacity is that then?
750.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Something like that.
not big enough for that. No, but yeah, you never know. But nice. That's amazing.
But I was trying to get Brian May and Tony Iommi down. They knew about it.
They knew about it. Wow.
They knew about it, but it's like, I'm kind of busy that night, But
Yeah.
The word got out. Like Neil Murray's there, Tony Martin's there.
You never know then.
It's all done properly. All food laid on from hotels. Everything was all done.
Yeah.
If they just turn up with one song, maybe, you never know.
Never know next year, maybe. And
I don't know.
oh man, I'll have to. Well, I think I was on tour. No, it was here around Christmas time.
It was December the 29th, in the middle of Christmas and New Year.
Yes, awkward. I think I was in Australia. Yeah, I go away for New Year's a lot with my wife, and that was why. Otherwise, I would have been.
It was Cozy's birthday on the 29th of December.
So there's always going to be
that. On
then.
the birthday.
Right.
That's why it's called the birthday bash.
Yeah, makes
And
sense.
I thought nobody's going to be on tour between Christmas and New Year.
That's true.
If I did it in the summer or in March, April, people are on tour.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't get these guys, And I know Chris Glenn was saying, "Oh, I got to go and rehearse with Schenker," but he put Schenker off for a couple of days to come and do us. I'm like, wow,
Nice.
So Schenker knew about it. Michael Schenker knew about it. I'd love Schenker to be there one day, but
I meant to be playing with him in December. I don't know if it's going to go ahead or not because
Schenker Fest thing, their tour.
Yeah, the Schenker Fest thing because it was meant to be in April and obviously that got postponed. So at the moment it's technically on in December, but who knows?
Well, we're supposed to be doing Planet Rockstock in December.
Yeah, and we are. So they're the only Planet Rockstock and the Michael Schenker Fest thing are the only things that are technically not cancelled.
Are we on the same day?
I don't know. I have no idea. I hope so.
I hope so, because it'll be like Sally on the piano singing, and it'll be you guys playing "Killed by Death."
Yeah, I know. Yeah, probably.
I'll be there, man. Killed by Death.
To be honest, even if we're not on the same day, I'll try and definitely come up and watch you guys because we're not going to be on tour. And it's only down the road, isn't it? It's not far. Yeah. And so I've only ever seen you guys once. So yeah, I want to talk a little bit about Chris Buck for any of our listeners who might not know who he is yet, because
who's he?
He's this guitar guy, I think. I saw him on YouTube. He's quite good.
I've got one of his guitars here. I think I'll sell it. Probably get a lot of money for it over the Strat.
It's mad. So is he in his 20s? Is he 30 yet? He's still in his 20s?
Yeah, late 20s now.
Late 20s. But
I keep telling people I discovered him.
You probably did.
Well, I tell you what happened. He was I think he was about 16 or 17 or something like that. He was a rock and pop competition for school bands, and I was looking after this band, and I remember walking backstage, and he was there with all his hair out, and he was playing his Les Paul, and I just stopped, and I said, wow, and I said, "Oh, you know what you're doing, don't you?" And he goes, "Oh, thanks," you know, because you could tell. You
just knew it was talent. You knew it was
something there.
Pure, yeah.
And what was bizarre about it is my sister works with his mother.
Okay.
And my sister said to me, "Oh, I work with this woman whose son plays guitar. His name was Chris Buck. And here's a video." I said, "Oh, that's that kid I spoke to." And his mother said, "Oh, I work with a woman whose brother plays drums with a man." And these people, "Oh, that's that bloke I saw." So I rang him up. He said, "Come on down the house." So we had a jam in there on my electric kit, and he was just phenomenal, top of his head.
Yeah.
And we just kept in touch. I got him involved in the early formation of Son of Man on the early demos and stuff. He'd done some gigs with us.
Ah, cool.
And then Buck and Evans was formed, and he asked me to join Buck and Evans. And yeah, musically, I think we're very much alike, because we do things on stage like, I'm not looking at him, he's not looking at me, and then we do the same rhythmic pattern over something. It could be a triplet or something, and then we look at each other and go, "Oh, we played the same thing without even knowing," you know. Or he's playing a solo, and then I know something's coming, and I play the same thing as him, and he just looks and grins. That's what it's like.
So you've got some unique chemistry going on there.
Yeah, it's always been like that. We always play off each other. You know, if he starts something, I can just kind of go with him. If I start doing something, he'll pick up on what I'm doing and go around there. Mickey Jones is like that from Man. Mickey was a phenomenal player as well.
Yeah, a lot of people said, when I used to work in a guitar shop, everyone used to talk about him all the time. Obviously, all call the Cardiff guys, and now he's a local legend, obviously. And more than that.
Your dad knows, obviously, Mickey, like. So,
yeah.
Yeah, Mickey was great. Yeah, that's how we kind of work off each other and with each other.
It's interesting how you met him so young.
Old Ed.
Yeah. You know, he's obviously influenced by a lot of the traditional, well, his main thing is blues, right? But he takes it to another level from what I've seen. I've watched a lot of his videos. Like, I'm not really...
Feel.
Yeah, it's feel and this right hand technique. And that's the difference between him and other guitarists. I think it's just, when he's got his own style, you can kind of tell who he's influenced by. You can tell there's a little bit of like John Mayer, like Clapton, that like
Stevie Vaughan and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Stevie Ray Vaughan, obviously. And
I see a bit of George Formby in him sometimes, mind you.
Yeah, probably.
When he's cleaning windows.
Is bad, but yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, basically anyone who's interested in guitar music, he's got quite a big YouTube following, I believe, from what I've seen.
60,000.
So yeah, that's amazing. That's insane.
But thankfully, he's using the Buck and Evans channel.
That's great. Yeah, that's amazing.
So
he uses that. He uses that for his own.
Yeah. But our videos are on there. I mean, when we do a video, it's getting 50, 60,000 hits, you know, within a few weeks or whatever. So yeah, they've got good hits on there.
Fantastic. But yeah, he's a great guitarist. Check him out. Check out Buck and Evans. Loads. Of course. So yeah, obviously Son of Man. Check out the new albums.
I used to message your dad back in the day. He said, "Oh, we've got a Christmas at the party coming up. Are you around? Come up and jam with us." And he'd be, "Oh, I'm still away."
You always used to tour in December, yeah.
Yes, yeah. They'd finish on the 19th of December, and I would give you the bloody 18th or something, you know.
Yeah, that's quite common. That was, yeah. Because I always remember he was always away, and then he'd come home a few days before Christmas. Yeah, it was like that's just how it was, sadly. But
yeah, because I mean, I said, "Look, come up and jam some Man songs with us," you know. And I was doing a jazz gig, I think it was last year, somewhere on a Wednesday night, and I think he texted me or I texted him back, and then he rang me, He said, when's this gig? I said, oh, so he said, oh, I can't again. I'm away. You know.
Yeah, hopefully
Maybe next time.
Yeah, I'll come up with him if we're around.
Yeah.
The problem is everyone tours around the same time, and it's so hard to get to see other bands and your friends' bands and stuff because you're always doing stuff at the same time. And I actually get to I go to less gigs now.
I don't go to any now, hardly at all, unless I know the people.
Yeah, well,
just to go say hello, you know.
Yeah, I don't go to many because you're spending so much of your own time at them, and most of the ones you want to go to clash with your own. I find.
But then it's a busman's holiday.
Yeah.
It's like, gotta protect your ears.
I can't go anywhere without earplugs.
Yeah, I wear them all the time now.
I
even wear them on the Harley because on the Harley's loud.
I bet.
Right? I'm like a Spitfire, but then I got speakers in my helmet and I got music playing on my helmet as well.
Have you?
So I got to put plugs in to tone it all down so I can still hear everything. But
that's cool though.
Like my mouse mat.
You need some Jack Daniels and a picture of Lemmy for anyone who's not watching.
Yeah.
Because some people are listening just on audio.
Oh, I see. Right.
But so that's cool. Nice. Yeah. So you obviously knew Lemmy a bit.
Not brilliantly, but you know, every time he'd come to Cardiff or Bristol or Newport, we'd hook up, and you know, I'd end up in the dressing room drinking Jack Daniels with him. He'd got me pissed a few times, even before they went on stage.
Oh yeah.
Christ alive.
Well, he's been there all day. What else is he going to do?
Yeah, in Bristol, in his, you know, in a little dressing room in Bristol. I remember your dad used to come in and sit down with three of us, had a chat once. But let me be sat there the same, and he'd go, so Jack, yeah, so he'd pour a massive measure of Jack in his cup. So we'd be chin wagging like that. No. I remember I'd be hammered before they went on.
It's insane how we used to be able to play, like, well, I guess it didn't really affect him so much.
No, it didn't. He told me once in Cardiff, because I would just go in the dressing room with him and just meet him chatting for ages, and he'd be on his bandit and talking and stuff. And I mean, how I first met him was 89 in the San Moritz in London.
Okay.
But that was before I played in Man or anybody there. So, but how I got to know afterwards, I knew Tim Butcher, his bass tech, really well.
Yeah.
And someone I knew was working on the tour, and they were in Newport Centre. So I got took up side stage. I was your dad's side. Your dad was there. They were playing Ace of Spades or something, and I stood watching it. Great. And then Lemmy said over the mic, this was fucking bonkers. He said, "You got great rock and roll in Wales. You got Dave Edmunds and the Man Band." I went, "Fucking play with them." And I thought, I've got to go meet this guy. I've got to go meet him properly. So I said to Tim, I said, I'd love to meet him. You know, just join the Man Band. And, all right. So he took me in the dressing room. And he said, Lam, this is Bob. He's just joined the Man Band as a new drummer. He went, "Hiya, Bob. How's Mickey and Deke and everybody?" And that was it.
Wow.
That was it. He was wonderful. Always had time for me. Even they played Bristol once. Remember he cut his finger?
Yeah.
He texted me. Bob, he said, I cut my finger, the gig's off. So don't waste your time coming down. He thought of me to text me, and I can't get over that. You know?
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, so nice. Yeah.
And that's what he was like. And every time we'd be in town, I'd go down and be in there for hours chatting. I remember once I just meeting him in there, and someone come and said, "Oh, come and see so-and-so's upstairs." And he put his hat on. He said, "Look after my room, Bob."
Yeah.
And off we go, and he'd come back and stuff, and we'd have a chin wag again. And he gave me a bottle of Jack one night, and he opened his case. And he went, "Yeah, son of that." He said, "Oh, you'd have to give me that, then." He said, "I fucking wouldn't if I didn't want to." You know.
Yeah, that's what he was like.
And he got a pen out, and he wrote his house phone number, his mobile phone number, and his address down. Yeah, give me his phone numbers. And I phoned him, a couple of times. I spoke to him on the phone a few times. But what a wonderful. He was generous, witty. He used to show me his drawing books with all his cartoons in there. You ever seen them?
I've only seen them. I've never seen them in person. No, I've never seen them in person. But
and he'd go, and he'd open up. Look at that one. and I'd be pissing myself because it'd be like a sketch, like a Monty Python or Spike Milligan sketch.
Yeah.
Just insane. Fucking funny as fuck. Oh, he texts me jokes, you know. Fucking hell. Sense of humour. But he was a lovely, lovely man.
Yeah.
You know, like really, really nice. I mean, always looked after me. The last time I saw him in Bristol, he texted me, he said, any problem, ring this number, you know, speak to the tour manager, da-da-da-da-da. I opened up my envelope, it was 2 laminate AAA passes.
Wow, yeah.
And then when I eventually got back to see him afterwards, and I said, oh, thanks for your time, Lem. And he said, I always got time for you, Bob. And I just like,
wow. Yeah.
I just like, hit me. And he was amazing. He was amazing. Obviously, I didn't know him like you might have known him, or you didn't know where he would be, obviously. But every time he was with me, he always gave me his time, and you know, he was amazing.
Awesome. It sounds like everyone says.
Loads of times.
Yeah, I bet he did. But yeah, you just reiterate what everyone else says about him. I guess he comes across as like the people who don't know him, as he's a bit hard, a bit scary. But then as soon as you get chatting to him, he's just a nice bloke. I thought
back in the day when they were massive back in the day, Hammersmith days and No Sleep to Hammersmith, and I thought, oh my God, I wouldn't want to. They look scary. He was just and I think he gave me the time because he knew I was in one of his favourite bands.
That probably helped, but he obviously must have liked you as a person. Otherwise, he wouldn't have continued to give you that service.
He loved Man. He loved Dave Edmunds.
Yeah.
So we had those things in common, and it turned out he loved ACDC as well.
Yeah.
It's like, I grew up with those. It's just wow.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably got something to do with it. You know, we always had time. We were chatting for ages in the dressing room, just me and him. But whatever.
I think a lot of like they were always very open to like meeting the fans and the fan club people, and I think everyone says the same kind of thing. People who got to meet him and go backstage with him, you know, he appreciated his fans like more than anything, really. So I think for people I think a lot of people who were in the fan club, like have all met, like a lot of them have met Lemmy, because that's what they were like. They were like always very welcoming and. You get to see a sound check if you were lucky and things like that. So, you know, but no, it's nice to know.
They were fucking loud, man.
Yeah, I know. I remember I did a tour once. I went on tour with them for like a week. I think I'd finished uni, so I went out. It was a UK tour, and I just helped out a little bit with some of the assistant guys. I didn't really do much, to be honest. I just sat around, watched the show, and ate the food. But I remember I walked across the stage doing this when they were setting up, and Tim just played a chord on the bass.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it. And it was the loudest thing I've ever heard in my life, because it was coming out of the monitors and the stacks. And I just happened to be in the middle of both. I was like, how the hell do they play on stage? Because I'd only ever been side stage, and it's loud there. Yeah. Without anything directly kind of.
But it's bizarre because he never used to go, pardon, what? Hey,
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And he was never drunk. He says, oh, I can't get drunk anymore. She said,
yeah, that's insane.
No,
that's good stories, man. Good times. Obviously what's happened has happened. It's sad, but everyone knows it's sad, and the memory will live on.
He's an icon.
Yeah.
And a legend.
Totally.
But they were a force to be reckoned with live.
Yeah.
I say to people, if you never see that thing again, that beast.
No.
Live, because it was something else. You know, I remember Mickey Jones went down because Mickey hadn't seen Lem for a while. So me, Mickey, and George went down to Bristol, and Mickey was a bit deaf as well because of all the 50 years of playing.
Yeah.
I remember we stood in Colston Hall in the front few rows by the side door.
Yeah. Just
in the doorway, and they fired up. And I remember Mickey going, fuck you, yeah. For him to do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, when they kicked off with either Bomber or some of those, oh Christ, just phenomenal.
It just blows you away immediately, doesn't it? It's just instant.
Overkill at the end.
Mental.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You know, just love it. Love it.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
He was in the car once, Lem, and we were in Cardiff afterwards. And I was driving that night, so I wasn't drinking. And I said, "Where are you going then?" He said, "Oh, we're going down into town, into Cardiff." Oh, okay. I said, "I'll give you a lift, you want?" Yeah, right. So it was Lem, Dan,
Yeah, the assistant guy.
yeah, and another guy who worked for VH1 or something. So they were all in my car. Driving through Cardiff. Lem was in the back of the car. And I remember him saying to me, I had one of these the black sun visor thing stuck in the window, so the sun wouldn't. When my son was in the
Yeah,
seat,
I know what you mean.
And I was driving around. I heard him say, "What's this, Bob?" I said, "It's a Ford Mondeo, Lem." "No, this." That was funny. And I was taking him to Cardiff. I said, "Right, Lem, that's the Millennium Stadium, but there we play rugby, all right, it's just bonkers."
Yeah. Class.
Fond memories of him. He was lovely to me.
Yeah, good. Yeah. That's great to hear, man. So we're coming to the end now. Then I always ask this.
Hey, this is your longest one, isn't it?
It probably is my longest one, which is cool. It's all good. Sorry to take up your afternoon.
That's fine. People will be sleeping, going, "Oh my God, doesn't he go on?" Jesus Christ.
No, but the thing about it though, you can just watch it in bits, or listen to it. I listen to long podcasts, and I just put 5 minutes on here, or 10 minutes there, or half hour here, and you just pick up from where you left off. So it's cool. But what I always ask everyone, so I think this would be really interesting coming from you and saying who your influences were. If you could build yourself a dream band with yourself on the drums, the members can either be dead or alive. Who would be in the band with you?
Well, I said it earlier. It'd be Rainbow, Graham Bonnet, Richie Blackmore, Don Airey, and Roger Glover.
So he would literally be. That's what it would be.
That lineup.
Yeah.
Because once I saw my Donington, I would dream of playing Donington.
Right.
And I did play Donington.
You did? Let's talk about that quickly then.
In 2016 with Buck and Evans. I thought, oh my God, I have achieved another dream of playing Donington Park. It was a bit of an anticlimax on the day because the weather was shit. And it was all rush. But to be on that massive stage.
You played the main stage, right?
We played the second stage.
The second stage was still huge. So you played an outdoor stage, yeah.
Massive. It was bigger than the old Monsters of Rock stages. It was fucking huge.
Yeah. And
the sound was amazing. Sound, it was wonderful. The actual play part was wonderful. Sound was brilliant. But there was mud everywhere. It was hammering with rain. Yeah. And I remember being in the catering area, and I bumped into Nigel Glockner there, and I saw Adrian Smith. He was there as well, and we were on the chat, and the rain was teeming down, and I was just thinking, I want to see Iron Maiden later, and I just started thinking, I want to go home.
Because of the rain, yeah.
Damp, it's just, I want to go home. And we trudged through the mud, it was horrendous. And I'm not a massive fan of the download multi-stages, multi-bands. I like the old days, and there's just so much going on, you don't know where to go. But,
and the problem is in those conditions, for you to get from one stage to another, I didn't even get to my dressing room to change. I changed on the side of the stage because it was easier. Yeah, I know what you mean.
It was a shuttle bus ride to the dressing room. I thought, well, I haven't got time. I just got the kit up.
Yeah.
So I checked the kit. No time to go anywhere. Rush.
Yeah.
But I played Donington Park on a massive stage, and I remember that we were walking out in front of the main stage, and our single at the time was playing through the main speakers of the main stage.
Oh wow, that's good.
I'm going to Buck and Evans singles several times throughout the day. It's like, fuck me.
You get a bit of PRS for that, hopefully. couple of pence.
You don't see it, do you?
Nah.
Yeah, so that was it, the Donington thing. So
awesome. A good story.
Ticks all my boxes.
Yeah.
So I don't care anymore.
You don't care. Exactly. You've done.
Whatever.
You've done it.
Whatever.
Just enjoy it.
except they never earned a multi-million pound to go with these
Nah.
bands and stuff,
That's what people assume you're on a big stage. They assume you're earning loads of money, but it doesn't work like that, is it? Unfortunately. Yeah. Like I saw I thought what it was the other day, and it was like you can be at the stage where you're headlining in front of thousands of people if you're in a rock band, and you can like I think they used 5,000. You could be headlining in front of 5,000 people a night, and you could still only be earning like a minimum wage salary at that level, and that's headlining, and that's crazy. Yeah. And people don't realize, they just assume you've got loads of money and you're rich. But maybe back in the day, it probably was a bit more lucrative because people used to buy records.
Yeah, and merchandise is good, obviously,
Yeah, merchandise, yeah.
Or doing sessions, I mean, some of the sessions are fairly well paid as well, but they, few and far between, and they come up now and again,
Yeah.
That one I forgot to tell you about was that film I did.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that then before the end.
That film, it was called Cody Banks 2 Destination London. That's about 15 years ago now, this was, I think. And the link was Martin Ace from the Man Band, and his mate was Kevin Allen, who directed it, and he said, I want a song for this. So we went and recorded this song, and it's on this bloody MGM film. It was in the cinemas, and then it was on Sky Movies, and then it's on bloody Channel 4, Channel 5, and it's like, it's my drums. That's my, because it started off with Tom Pat, and then snare fill. And my drums are on this bloody film.
Amazing.
My Premier kit, it's just woo! And on the end, as the credits are going up as well, it's just, that's another mind blower.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Should be Hollywood star.
No.
In a way, nah. Yeah. Your drum kit.
My Premier drums were.
Yeah, your drum kit was.
Yeah, my Premier. Awesome. That was my Red Sparkle Premier kit.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. So I think we've done almost 3 hours here.
Probably bored you senseless now.
You haven't bored me. You've been fascinating. I knew you would be. I knew you had a lot of stories and experience, so I think the listeners will really enjoy it as well. So thanks for taking the time on a Sunday.
Right back.
And
it rained a bit out there, so I can't even go to my Harley Davidson now. It's a bit damp.
Yeah, it's looking a bit. Yeah, I can see a big black cloud. I think it rained about an hour ago, didn't it? I'm on the top floor and I could hear it. But yeah, man, thanks for that. And we'll do. You're on Instagram and Twitter, are you? You're just Instagram?
Yeah, I'm on all those things. I don't do a lot, to be honest with you, Dane. No. And only if I'm forced to.
If anyone wants to follow you, do you know what your tags are?
Tub Thumper 10, I think, on Instagram.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, cool. Well, I'll share them anyway when we do when I post about the podcast and stuff. So
it's more important for the bands I'm in really than me. I don't,
That's how I feel. It's push the band, isn't it, more than.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, push. Yeah, so check out Buck and Evans and Son of Man. Really good stuff. Good musicians all around.
Hopefully we'll see you. We meet up in Rockstock. If this Hope Rockstock's happening.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah, that'd be great. We'll have a nice another catch up then. So if anyone,
50 cymbals all around, man.
Yeah, we will be. I know. But yeah, awesome. We'll enjoy your afternoon, and thanks again for taking the time, and really appreciate it. And we'll catch up with you soon, all right, man?
No worries, but thank you very much.
Cheers, Bob. Cheers.
Ta.